episode 24.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Huh?
Welcome back to the Renegade Realm Podcast, episode 24. Yes, 24, and I'm so happy to be back. Now they can hear that, but thank you all for being here. I was sick. I was really sick. I had the, if you know what I mean. See, for you guys, for the panel members, you guys have no idea what's happening, but. Yeah, I was super sick. Probably the sickest I've ever been in my entire life. No hyperbole whatsoever. It was really bad. So thanks for all the kind wishes and kind words. And we are all just... It kind of feels weird being back. It's, 2 weeks.
It's been 1 week.
It's one...
It's not been that long.
2 weeks, technically. So last week and now a whole week, right? Isn't that how math works? I don't know. Listen, everyone, thank you. And you know who else is here? The original crew. And Damarco is here as well. Welcome.
I got you, homie.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He just threw you
I
under the bus.
Yeah. What the hell was that?
Sorry, I'm so
the
focused
original
on
crew.
This,
The original crew and Damarco.
how are you? What have you been into, man?
Me?
Yeah.
Assassin?
Nope. You, Damarco.
It's been busy with all the stuff going on, which we're going to talk about some of it today, right? We're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's been coming out of the FTC hearings, which normally I don't get interested in that kind of stuff, but this stuff is sort of juicy. This is some juicy stuff. So I'm excited, and I've been keeping up with that, what I've been seeing, and also I've been I've been on a bit of a DC bend lately, where I've just been going back and watching all the DC things because I just watched The Flash, and it was adequate. It was a movie. It was definitely a movie, and that's been my extended break, my vacation time that you allowed all of us. That's what I did with it.
That's what I did. See, that was all part of the plan.
Gave us a vacation day.
Exactly. It was nice, but not in the good way.
Not for you.
That doesn't make any sense. But yes, look, MacBound, who you guys won't be able to see Mac because he is in the middle of moving. And so, Mac, tell us what you've been doing. Other than that, you've been playing things, slapping things around.
Got to level 40 in Diablo finally. After all this time, I'm kind of getting wrenchy on it. Like I want to keep playing it, but
okay.
A certain game came out, and it overheats stuff, and it's catching fire. It's Final Fantasy 16, and my personal opinion.
Oh yeah, that released.
Yes, it did.
Wow, I completely forgot that had come out already.
And I will tell you right now, to my personal opinion, it's my game of the year. It has overtook Jedi Survival, barely, but it has. I haven't played it enough, so I want to see how the story gets onto it. I think it looks beautiful. The game looks amazing. The game is smooth. Everything. The story mode is like Game of Thrones times like it's just Game of Thrones. Just shit happens that you don't see coming, and I love it. And that's what I love about Game of Thrones is that the story. And I don't really like games for stories, but this game hits perfect with it. And everybody that says, "Oh, it's 60% cutscenes," if you played a Final Fantasy, everybody knows they got cutscenes. Stop bitching about it. Shut up if you've never played it. And just enjoying life, man. Trying to get better. A lot of personal stuff going on, and just trying to get better, man. That's all it is. So. And once again, welcome back, everybody. So Anybody that's in chat, I think it was Timmy, Jake. I don't know who else is there. It looks like Damarco just finally said something there. We got him to.
You got a smile going on there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, good, man. And you got, moving the house and stuff like that. So you're.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot going on. And guys, if that soundboard is too loud, just fuck off. No, I'm kidding. Let me know and I'll just not use it. Assassin, you silly little rascal.
Huh?
Okay, that's not what I meant to press. How are you? Welcome, and what have you been playing, man?
I'm doing alright. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's nice to see the chat again after 2 weeks. Thanks, Red, for the extended vacation that you offered us all. I'm sorry you had to get sick to do it, but hey, thanks a lot.
When's your next one?
Next one I decided to eat a spoiled
Do I
pork
get paid time off next time?
Yes, and I'll send everyone a sample of what
You're
made
getting
me
paid?
sick so we can take turns.
We get paid?
Yeah. Well, and
you
spoiled
don't?
pork loin. Yeah, we do.
No, we don't. But hey, let's see. Well, I'm doing alright. I've been playing a lot of games recently. I finally finished Hi-Fi Rush last night. Absolutely stellar game. I can't believe I waited this long to finish, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
It was a great game. I already tweeted it out. I really want a sequel to come out. John Johannes, if for some reason, if the gods of the universe decide to, put something in his ear, please make another Hi-Fi Rush. Please, I'm begging you. It's a great game. You should check it out. It's on Game Pass, Xbox, PC. You know the drill.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 10 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I know there was some... The rhythmness of it all. Like, I get where Mac was coming from before. Like, if you're not into rhythm games, it's not your thing. But it's good. I know there was some button prompts that I was like, I got that. I pressed it at the exact time that it said that I should. Other than that,
I was gonna say, are you knocking a point on the rhythm game because it's a rhythm game? I was like, that is not fair.
No. Nah. Not doing that, no. I mean, there was some questionable level design choices, but I can let it slide. I can let it slide for now.
Yeah, I feel that.
The music and boss battles are on point, though.
There you go.
Well, I have finished 3 games in the past 2.
Who asked you?
Well, all right, let's just pick one. Let's see. First topic.
I was thinking that. I just didn't say it.
Let's see. This is what happens, Chad. I get totally.
He just beats the Mass.
And
he just beat the Mass Effect trilogy all over again. That's the 3 games.
That's a 3 games.
So it doesn't count.
That's actually 1 game with 3 chapters that are 80 hours long a piece or whatever. But yeah, so I finished the most unexpected finishing of a game that I've ever done in my life, where I beat it and went, oh man, like I'm playing it, I'm like, that was so wow, like that's crazy. I wonder what's gonna happen next. I beat it. The credits are rolling. Is this real? Is this real? Is this really happening?
Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfenstein 2.
Wait, is that it actually?
No, it's not.
Ow.
It's Jedi Survivor. Beat that.
Wolfenstein 2 does the same thing.
It does the same thing.
Yeah,
yes,
it does.
yes, it does. God, that game is so good. Jedi Survivor, and go check out Damarco's review. It's so good, by the way. I watched the whole thing. It's so good.
What was your favorite skit?
It's still the very beginning, which is, I know it's
Fair.
a cop out because it's the I hate you, and it just like cuts and you're like, what are you doing? I love that. It was so funny. Finished that. Finished Dead Space, which, God, that game. Fuck. The game is so good. And then I've also finished. Oh my God. What else did I finish? I just beat it. Help me. Chat, what did I beat? Tell me what I beat. No, it's another big one. Resident Evil 4. That's what it was. Resident Evil 4.
Yep. Last night. Yep.
Last night, yeah. And
Yep,
I honestly, I just, at the end of that game, I was like ready to be done with it. Not because it was bad. I I don't know. I don't really want to talk out of my bunghole, but the game was amazing. I put 20. I think I beat it in like. I had like 20 plus hours in it, but the game said I beat it in like 15. I was like, that's not right. Anyway, so now I'm on my last.
Thanks, Colt.
Game to beat. Oh my god. He's Colt Eastwood. Colt Eastwood's in chat, everyone. Yes. Anyway, so
He's my favorite YouTuber next to Damarco Dude and Rand.
Oh. Well, oh wait, me?
What?
Okay.
What?
Anyway, I don't know what Colt is talking about in the chat. I'm so confused. I need to actually bring chat up here. Speaking of chat, thank you all so much for being here. Colt Eastwood. Red doesn't have to know. Oh god, I love this. I love you guys. Colt, thanks for being here, buddy. That's awesome. We need to chat. I miss you.
We got him.
And,
We got Arcane, and then
look,
I don't know who
Night
there's a new
Turtle.
guy. Yeah, there's a new guy here. Yep.
Yeah, so Night Turtle, I saw you in chat, and I said, you better be there, you son of a mother. And he did. He showed up. He showed up. Just like, I sincerely appreciate that. That's awesome. Jake is here, of course. Our main man, Jake, in the chat as always. Timmy's in here, baby. Let's go. And I don't know if I think that's it. And thank you. Well, that's the only one that's actually talking. So thank you guys so much for being here. So, you know what? Let's just jump straight in. We touched on it before. I did. Colt, he's saying Red Wolf played Persona for like 400 like a nerd. I didn't play for 400. I've only played it for 130 so far. So I'm only like.
Oh yeah, that's any better.
Listen, that game. God, it just makes me feel like a little girl, just all over again.
What?
Anyway, so listen.
For the third time.
And speaking of Japanese girls making those noises that I just played that the panel can't hear, but the audience can, let's talk about Final Fantasy 16. We touched on it again, but you know, while everyone's getting all excited and it's hot out there for a pimp. And you know who else is a pimp? Clive. What's his name?
Clive Rossfield.
Clive Rossfield.
Rosenfield.
That man is definitely a daddy. So yeah, Colt definitely will. I love your laugh too. It's intoxicating. So let's just get
okay. Colt.
Okay, so Damarco, you haven't played this yet. You said that you forgot that it came out.
I didn't even know that it's a game I've been excited about, but not so excited where I'm like, I need it day one, you know. So I didn't know it came out. But I did watch the reviews, and I heard really good things about it, except for the side quests, which I heard were pathetic. No, I've just heard that they were really not good. That they were very generic and
very so. Yes.
Yeah, and I heard
yes, agreed.
From Mr. Maddie's review.
Dumb as hell, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I heard from Mr. Maddie's review specifically that a lot of it, because he said that they had Final Fantasy 14, like the MMO director kind of did a lot of stuff for Final Fantasy 16, and you saw that bleed into this one here. You saw some of the MMO stuff come in, but everything else, really good. Mm-hmm. Because I watched multiple reviews. That's just what the way Maddie phrased it, but I watched a bunch of people, because I always do. I don't go to just one person and say, that's it.
That's my one opinion. Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of whenever they had, if you guys remember this, it reminds me of whenever I don't know which MMO this developer worked on, but an MMO developer worked on an MMO and then came in and worked on Dragon Age Inquisition. And you could see it in the hinterlands. Holy shit. I love that game, don't get me wrong, but that
you have to get past the hinterlands.
Yes, and people say the game's really good. It's really good. Just get past the hinterlands. Like, it is so true, and I hate it. But it is the truth. So that's kind of what that reminds me of. So what are you gonna do? It
was an ongoing joke between Maddie and Lone. Do you remember that? When they did the Ham Radio podcast, and Lone never finished it because he never got past the hinterlands.
Right. I remember someone not getting into The Witcher 3 because they hadn't got past the Griffin, and they were like, "Listen, you get past the hinterlands, I'll get past the Griffin. and then we can start enjoying these games together. I'm like, how? Anyway, I get it. Colt says, I'm going to finish Jedi Survivor this week at 30 FPS. Aww. And I played a noise. But hey, it's really good. But when you finish it, Colt, you're going to be like, oh, I beat it. But it's really, really good. But, so anyway, DeMarco, you and I haven't played it at all. So let's just shut the hell up. And, Assassin, you're the most, well, you know what? You and Mac, I think, share in this unbeatable adoration for the Final Fantasy series. And so, Assassin, why don't you let us know how you feel about, I almost said Assassin's Creed, about Final Fantasy 16, and how sexy Clive Rossfield is to you.
Okay, first, I want to say, since Mac was already talking about it before, I want to give it to him, but before I do, the fact that I'm getting to you on the Assassin's Creed, Fantasy Creed BS tells me that you're actually listening to me and it's bothering the fuck out of you on some level. Because did you almost say Assassin's Creed or Fantasy Creed?
I almost said Assassin's Creed 16 is what I almost said. That's where my mind went, so...
I mean, to be fair, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if Assassin's Creed had 16 games. I think there are like 12 or 14. We're getting there.
It's more than 16.
But Mac, you go ahead. It's more than 6. Are you counting spin-offs, or are you just talking
Siri!
mainline?
Well, let's just see. In Assassin's Creed games in general, let's see. How many Assassin's Creed games are there? Oh my god, how many Assassin's Creed are there in total?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, while Red looks that up, Mac, you go ahead and you talk about Final Fantasy 16.
And 17 spin-off games. So there are 20... What's that math? That's a lot.
Wait, how many mainline?
12. So you were right on that. The spin-offs, 17.
Wow.
17. That's crazy that you were right on. Listen, you're living up to your name, baby. That's awesome.
Hey.
Well, I love that.
Anyway, Mac, take it away. Final Fantasy 16.
Hey,
you go first, man.
Okay, well, we'll talk about, everybody's talking about the overheating problem. Listen, I don't know. Me and Assassin talked about it last night for a brief second. He's not had a problem besides the game crashed one time on him. I haven't had a problem. I don't know. My PlayStation's in the wide open, first of all. So there's nothing that can stop it from being there. Let's talk about that. But I'm hearing it's only going to happen during the boss battle. The intenseness of the game is just overdoing it. I don't know. I feel like those people just probably have their PlayStation stuck in a cabinet with the door closed and they're trying to play on it. They're just enjoying the heat. They're pretty much putting s'mores in there and they're fucking making s'mores with their PlayStation. Because I don't know. That's just, to me, I think it's just dumb. People are just, and they're, of course, these people are just running with it on Twitter, and it's ridiculous because they haven't. Most of the people that are talking about it have not played the game, so it kind of irks me because it's such a great game. Like this game, to me, like I said, I'm putting it above Jedi Survivor because it just plays great. It's what I want from a Final Fantasy game. It's what I want from a game like this, and it's the smoothest game I've played all this year. And I'm talking about from Hogwarts Legacy to anything. This game runs perfect, and now, like I said, the side quests suck. It's so stupid. They'll literally tell you, go grab a piece of wood. You'll have to walk like 30 feet and then come back and give them the piece of wood. And that's a side quest. Yes, it's stupid. But whatever. That is so stupid.
When did side quests get so lazy? Like,
well, see, but you gotta look at there's the point of being lazy, and then there's this, and then you gotta understand we're used to like Red Dead or Rockstar's games or Witcher 3 or Mass Effect. So we're looking at it from the high.
Or Bethesda.
Even Bethesda games, we're looking at it from the standards of side quests. The Final Fantasy never really had side quests. If you look at most Final Fantasy games, they've never had side quests outside their online game. So I think it's a trickle down of just them not knowing what to do with the side quests because of they're normally just story based. If you play, they've all had something minor in it, like play the Blitzball in Final Fantasy X. Do the combos in 7. There were certain things that they did, but it was never nothing serious that like you had to go out of your way. But to me, this game is right now my game of the year, and that's saying much for a game. And I don't say much like that. Now, I still think, I can't really say it's game of the year because I think Zelda's going to win game of the year. But I don't want to count Zelda because it doesn't. To me, we knew it was going to win, so I always go what's going to come in second. So Final Fantasy is my second game of the year because Zelda's going to clearly win it. But I love it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. The character detail is amazing. The combat is perfect. People that just bitch and complain about it haven't played it. So
what about the cutscenes? Do you like the? Because I look at something where I've heard you have like 10-minute cutscenes or whatever, and I go nice. Like I'm ready to sit back and watch for a bit and then get into my game. I don't mind that stuff, but I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't want it. They want to play the game. They don't want to watch a movie.
There's some cutscenes, but you can skip it. You don't need to fucking watch it. If you don't want to watch it, don't fucking watch it. Just hit the start button, hit Y, and skip it. That's all you have to do. There's nothing. You don't need to wait. You know, they're stupid. These people that are complaining about this are just like, just skip it. It's just simple. It's not that hard. You don't need to. I don't know.
Well, do you lose out on the story if you're skipping 10-minute cutscenes? So
there's my point. If you're playing a Final Fantasy game, expect to watch cutscenes.
So
there's nothing else about it.
I was gonna mention that I think that there is a fine line to tread when it comes to I'm interested in the story, but my God, is every single cutscene long-winded as hell.
It's not though. It's not though. It's not as what they're.
I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying in a case where someone is interested, and the people who are getting annoyed with the length of the cutscenes, then you can't skip, because then you skip and then you're like, I forgot what the hell was going on. I've accidentally skipped cutscenes thinking that they were almost over. I don't know if you guys have ever done this. You're like, and I've rarely done this, but where you're like the cutscenes, I get the gist of it. The cutscene's about to be over. You hit the skip button, and the whole world is on fire. Everything's blown up, and you got blood all over your face. Like, what the fuck just happened? I should not have skipped the cutscene, which I never do. But I have done it a couple times. I actually did it once on Jedi Survivor. I'm not gonna lie, and it was just that exact same. I should not have done that. So I loaded back at the last checkpoint, and thankfully I got the cutscene. So learn my lesson there. But hey, so I think that there is a. Giovanni Gazzada says, bring Sapio back for when you hit episode 169. Yeah. Whoops. Anyway, so I think that the people that are complaining about how long the cutscenes are might just not be that interested in the story, Mac, is all that I was saying. So to your point, I think that if you're interested, the cutscenes won't seem that long.
Yeah, see that they don't seem that long, but I've been wanting to play this game for over 2 years now, so
yeah,
that says much. So
yeah,
I like to see the huge juxtaposition though of titles where you have something like God of War, which God of War is incredible to me from a design standpoint because everything's just one single camera shot, the whole entire game, which is just it's amazing. It's amazing artistry. And then you could get something on the other side of it like Final Fantasy 16, which makes these super cutscenes that are very cinematic, and it has it just does it in a different way. I like that, the variation. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
God of War is amazing. Their cutscenes, they're like you said, they're just. God of War 2018 was my game of the year for that year. Plus, it's almost my game of the year for the last generation. So that says much for me. So you know how that feels. So,
yeah, I just like the way that you could have both those experiences.
Ironically, to Red's point, he was playing Dead Space. One thing that a lot of people didn't realize until they started playing the game, Dead Space, I mean, same camera angle. It's all just one shot, going in and out. Same with Halo Infinite. So, fun facts. Yeah.
Wait, what? Halo Infinite?
Yeah.
Yep, Infinite's the same way.
Yep.
Halo Infinite has cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but the transition from in-game gameplay to cutscene, it's
where
seamless.
like the camera pulls out, it doesn't like fade to
black. It's all one camera. Yeah, the same with Dead Space.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that because in Dead Space it is one set camera like for the entire time until like a real big cutscene happens. When it does do the Halo Infinite thing where it sort of just transitions from over his shoulder around to his face, but there are a lot of like I'm frozen, can't move cutscenes that happens in Dead Space. But anyway, so Mac, you're liking it overall.
Yes, definitely. If you like, I see that Knight said something about it. He likes the old school ones. You know, I get that. That's totally understandable. Those games are amazing. So I can see why people love those games. But like these games are just so beautiful. These newer ones. So that's why I love them. So, and I also want to say what up to Yodani. My hands are not free right now to type. So I just want to say what up.
Yeah. Yodani Gazada, thank you so much for being here, bro. And shout out to everyone again for being here. It seriously means a lot. And Night Eternal says, after 7 and 8, I didn't play another until 12. I prefer the SNES ones, the old classics. It's interesting. I think 10 was the one that people jumped onto. 12
I love
was
10 is my favorite. Oh, God, it's so great.
And then 12 was the one that people felt kind of odd about, right? Back in the day, they were like the job system was really convoluted, and I don't know. I'm really just a Final Fantasy 7.
From what I understand, Final Fantasy 1 through 6 was a period of when the franchise was establishing its identity. 7 through 10 is when it literally hit the mainstream and is when people started getting more invested into the franchise and more people, started to... 7 through 10 I think is considered the golden era of Final Fantasy, and then after that, like 11 to, I would say 15 is where, the franchise has kind of stagnated a little bit, like it didn't know where to go from there, and 16 feels like a breath of fresh air from pretty much all three eras of Final Fantasy. 16 feels like the start of a new generation / era for Final Fantasy, both for old school, the old school fans. We've been hearing them all over the timeline on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, everywhere that, they prefer the classic turn-based combats, in terms of combats, gameplay. They don't like the action, or the action hack and slash bits of 16. I enjoy it. I could, as long as the story, characters, and tone fit perfectly with the game, I don't care about combat, per se. Like, in my preference, I prefer action, hack and slash, beat 'em up type of games. But I like turn-based too. I mean, for God's sakes, one of my favorite turn-based strategy games is Fire Emblem. Still need to beat that, by the way. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy is just going back and forth. It just depends on when you started, how you feel about the franchise now, where do you think it's going to go later on. So yeah.
And so are you, Assassin? Speaking of combat, are you enjoying this combat in Final Fantasy 16? The more Devil May Cry, people keep comparing it to Devil May Cry, and from what I've heard,
no.
that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. But I understand why people are using that comparison. It's like saying that people compare every survival crafting game to it's Minecraft in space. Like when I heard about that with No Man's Sky, I'm like, shut the fuck. But this is this is just the example because it's that action type combat. Do you like it? Do you think it's deviating too far from Final Fantasy? And why? Why am I right?
Well, see the thing is, Red, I joined the Final Fantasy ecosystem with the remake of 7, so all I know from Final Fantasy is the action, hack and slash, Devil May Cry like gameplay. Now, the irony is, a lot of people comparing 16 to Devil May Cry, they may or may not realize this, but the combat director for Final Fantasy 16 was a Capcom veteran that actually worked on Devil May Cry 5 and Dragon's Dogma. So, the people making the comparison, there's a reason. I mean,
I would say it plays more like Dragon's Dogma. I don't think it's got the similarity of freaking Devil May Cry, but to me, it's more fluent like Dragon's Dogma. See, to me, Devil May Cry is more button mashy. Like, you just mash the same fucking 3 combos and you do it on the same monster over and over. This one's a little bit different. And it always... Yeah. There's another thing, though, that's a little weird. I don't want to ruin it for people, but there's something to do with the accessories that kind of change the game a little bit. That make it either easier or harder for you. So it's a little weird. So I don't know. Like I said, I get why people don't want to buy a PlayStation to play Final Fantasy. I totally get that. But, like, I own one, and I love Final Fantasy, so I'm going to play it. And I agree with everything Assassin said. The game has got its whiff of being great. And I just don't get these people that have not played it that are bashing it. It's like, I don't know. It's just like, it's the dumbest shit. It's like, hey, it's like driving past like a new store that you've never been into, but you heard one bad review, so that's what you go off of. Like you just jump on the freaking bandwagon and talk about it, and it's like, come on, you're a bunch of stupid people.
Yeah, and those people, I say,
you stupid.
There we go.
I will say the frame rates, they do need to fix that, but I feel like that's just I think that's a lot to do with when they started off development, they didn't understand. They didn't know they were going to only be a PlayStation thing on top of it, and then they didn't really give a like. Okay, we needed to have it 30 frames, but then they realized this game is more than that because of what everything else is. There's so much. There's no variable refresh rates on the PlayStation 5, which makes it very bad. There's a couple things that I can get why people don't want to play it because of that, but it's minimal to me. Like, I think that's like something that's so minimal that if you love a Final Fantasy game or you like a Devil May Cry or a Dragon's Dogma RPG, or even, like I said, if you played even Final Fantasy 14 or even 7, this game is for you, or even 15. 15 was, I don't want to talk about 15, but this is, I'm sorry. I'm rambling on because it irritates me to see these people that never play this game talk like it's the worst game in the world.
Yeah, for me, Final Fantasy 16, absolutely, it's a stellar game. The story, Yoshida-san, he based some of it on Game of Thrones, which Mac, I think you touched on earlier, so you know the quality of that story. The combat, like we talked about earlier, I mean, there's nothing else I can say. It's fluid. You can easily switch between icon abilities literally in real time. I love being able to use a move from the Phoenix icon called the Heat Wave, right? So you call down a pillar of fire and then you use 2 slashes of fire towards your enemies. And then I love immediately switching over to Garuda, which is the Earth icon. And she has an ability called Gouge, where you literally use her claws to gouge out the enemies right in front of you. And you can button mash that all the way up to, I'd say, about 15-20 hits. And if you manage to get that far, it does an extreme amount of damage. You know, I'm rambling on a little bit, and I would say the combat is literally where Final Fantasy 16 shines the most. You know, obviously, regarding the cutscenes, I don't think they're too long, in my opinion. There was no point when I was watching the cutscenes where I'm like, is this ever going to be over? You know, because the characters that are being represented in these cutscenes, they're so magnetic. Like, you want to learn more about them, you want to learn more about what their goals are, their struggles. Yeah, everything about Final Fantasy 16 is popping off for me. I mean, for God's sakes, when I first played it, I didn't stop for 12, 13 hours. I started it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't stop playing until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, if that tells you anything. The game is just that good, especially the first hour. Some people pointed out that during the first hour or two, there was more cutscenes than gameplay, but I disagree with that claim. Like, there was a decent amount of cutscenes, but there was enough gameplay to balance it. They just wanted you to know who Clive Rossfield is, you know, who are the supporting cast, who are the main antagonists. Like, they want you to learn more about the world, because obviously that's also another aspect of the game that they want you to take notice of. But Final Fantasy 16 for me, based on what I've played so far, which is a good 25, 30 hours already, maybe more than that, it's a definite Game of the Year contender for me. It's right on par with Dead Space Remake, which is my other Game of the Year contender. It's a great game. I highly recommend people, if you have a PlayStation, Final Fantasy 16 is one that you really should play. Like, even if you don't like Final Fantasy per se, or if you wanted to get interested in it for a while, 16's a great game to start out with.
Look at that. Accessibility. Well, good. Look at that. And the poll in chat that I put up, it says 46% of people, which is 13 people, said no, they will not be playing it. And 30% said they're going to wait for a sale. 23% said yes. It's interesting. I wonder if that's
the thing that
PlayStation.
That you beat me to it. I was going to say the people that said no, I want to know how many actually see. We can't because there's not an actual number that don't own a PlayStation. Like, if you owned a PlayStation, I would see where you would wait for a sale. You know, you don't want to spend $70 on a game. But, like, I don't know. It's just I think that's what the big no is. Anybody that said, and Monad, read my message.
Or they just own a PC. That's it. Oh, fuck off, Monad.
I know, that's what I told him what I told him. All right. Normally I'm with
it. And Night Eternal says, I do like action games, though. I just don't expect to see it with the name Final Fantasy on it.
Well, as I said, play Crisis Core from the PSP, or even the one that's on the modern consoles, or play the remake, and you'll understand where this this action game comes into play where it's so smooth. And go play even like I said, Final Fantasy 14 or 15 will really open up your eyes on the action game more too. So.
To Night Eternal's point, another comparison. He says that he likes action games. He just doesn't expect Final Fantasy to have its name on it. Try being an Assassin's Creed fan. Fantasy games are great, but I didn't expect Assassin's Creed to be on the box of Origins or Odyssey or Valhalla. That just when you deviate too far from the source material, that's when you irritate the hardcore fans. That's when you know you have a fucking problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good comparison. And I've argued with people about who didn't like Valhalla and Odyssey and all those games and saying, it's not good, it's not a good Assassin's Creed game. I'm like, I would agree with you. They are great games, standalone. I wish that they didn't have Assassin's Creed tied to them because they are great. The same thing with a lot of people. I have a couple friends that don't like the new Ghost Recon. And they're like, it's not Ghost Recon. I'm like, but it is still an amazing shooter, an open world shooter. It's great. Anyway, so any other thoughts on Final Fantasy 16, or y'all want to move right along? Okay.
I expect it to be nominated at the Game Awards. I'm expecting it to be nominated.
If Jeff Keighley's there, then I'm kidding. No. So
it's his show. I'd hope he would be there.
Yeah. Lex, what's up? Thank you so much for being here. She says, if you ask me, the series was always going to go this way. They could only do turn-based originally. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I got you. It can only go on for so long until they have to start going after a modern audience, I think is what she's saying.
Hey, Red, quick question for you.
Yeah?
So, a lot of people, when they say Final Fantasy, they had to go that way to action from turn-based. How would you feel if next year or sometime in the next 12, 18 months, Persona 6 was announced and it's more action than turn-based?
Okay. That would be awesome, honestly. Okay, now, it's only
Really?
because... Yeah, I feel like... I don't know. That's sort of like a double-edged sword because Persona thrives off of how stylish it is and how everything just feels so... Like, it's so anime, but like in such a stylish way. The music and everything about it, and I feel like when it comes to combat, turn-based, you have a lot more wiggle room to work with when it comes to like showing your characters acting how they should, as far as their personality. I feel like in an action game, you don't really get a lot of room to literally showcase that in a cinematic way, because you're in the middle of combat. So you're not gonna see Ryuji or whatever being like and like throwing up his hammer behind his shoulder like he usually does. He's just gonna be over there shooting shit, and, you know what I mean? So I think now that I've said that, no, I don't want that. That'd make me angry and mad, but I still buy it and pay $120. So yeah, I just want to catch up with chat real quick. Jake says, I'm sorry, wait, no, I got that already. Monad, thank you for saying that. Jake says, though I haven't played the Final Fantasy series, I do think it's cool to see it evolve and keep up with the times. I can't say it ever got stale. Yeah, I guess that is the thing. My favorite Final Fantasy game is 15, actually. 7 is my favorite world. But 15 is still my favorite. I love that. 'Cause, my bros, rolling around with my bros.
It's a boy band. It's a boy band Final Fantasy. That's
yeah. Yeah, it's a feel good bros. Everyone's slapping each other's bums and not in the weird way.
I don't know what movie you're watching.
Well, play the DLC. So let's see. No, gonna. That's Mac. I almost read your chat, Mac.
I was talking about Monad said that Final Fantasy is an interactive movie, and it's not, because there's a couple games that are like that, like Until Dawn. If y'all remember that for the PlayStation, that is like a game that is driven to be like a movie.
I think he's just trolling you.
No, I know he is.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that somebody that doesn't understand what an interactive movie is when it comes to a video game term. There's something else I think that won Narrative of the Year last year, and it's like what was it? It was something, I don't remember what it was called, but it literally won one of the. It was a Game Pass game. It won last year, like a big thing at VGA.
Tell me why.
Those are what it. And them are
Tell me
so
why.
fun.
Yeah.
No, there's
Or As Dusk Falls.
Dust falls. That's what it.
Ass dust falls. Yes. Ass
Yeah,
dust.
that's my game. That was my game of the year for 2021.
Yeah, let's get to rolling. Let's get to rolling on that.
Or
My girlfriend
2022.
beat that game in like 2 hours. I was like, honey. So okay. Let's go. You know what? Let's just get through the stuff. This will take just one little second, and I can actually kick it off by answering Jake's original. He shout out to you, Jake. You're awesome, dude. He chatted in before the show even started, and he says, "What do you guys think of the rank patches / badges Todd Howard mentioned in the interview, visible on spacesuits?" Or no, he's talking about Starfield, of course. Damarco, you want to answer that question?
The Starfield patches. Yeah, so he said that it's Todd Howard, just for context, Todd Howard mentioned that the patches you can get as the level up screen when you go through all those skills are all patches and they could show up. I never heard that he explicitly confirmed that they show up on your character, but that's what everyone's saying.
So cool.
So I
Like
just
a-
kind
like
of
army like rank, you know what I mean? You know, like on
yeah, sort of. Like, it'll go on your shoulder, like all the
Right.
things. And I never heard him explicitly say. He said that he likes. My interpretation of what he had said was that he likes the design of them. That they are like patches that could go on your spacesuit. That could be. So I don't know. But I just took everyone's word for it because everyone else said you're wrong and you're an idiot and you obviously don't know anything about Starfield. And so I just
That's
went
the
okay.
internet.
Sorry.
Yep.
Um,
I had the first. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's cool. I hope that you could turn it off though, because I mean, because it does make sense. By the time you're level 50 in a Bethesda game and you have 700 different skills and like how many patches you're gonna see more patches than armor. Obviously exaggerating, but I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want to see. So
Wait, I can't be a Boy Scout in space? What the fuck? Like, you know, it's like just want to
You
make sure.
too. Yeah, you know, you get like a Boy Scout sash. That's one of the mods that's coming out. Yeah, so it's a cool aesthetic detail. I like that it gets represented on your character if that is the case, if it is true. But you know, it's like the little touches that they do that make the games fun.
Yeah, so let's just get right into this. We'll kind of fly through this Starfield. So just a couple new details on Starfield, and the internet is kind of pooping and doing those things. And actually, it sounded more like this. There we go. That's what it actually sounded like. And a lot of these issues that people are taking, I see more as less is more. So Todd Howard had an interview. I'm sure that everyone knows all about it. That he had an interview with Kind of Funny. Was it Kind of Funny with IGN?
Yes. Kind of funny.
yes.
X-Cast.
Or sorry, Kind of Funny IGN. It's not the same people.
Kind of funny.
No,
X-Cast.
Yeah. So yeah, the X-Cast.
No, by Mike. You know, Gary Wetter and Eric.
Yes.
Very
So,
slowly.
so let's just jump into the couple things that. So the big thing that people are talking about is that 10% out of the 1,000 planets, which if you don't know, that's 100 planets at least, will have life on them, and a lot of people are upset about that. I know a couple of my friends that run. I call them my friends. They hate me, but that run a Starfield centric podcast were very upset about this, and I think just disappointed. I think, and what I said is that I believe that this actually encourages exploration more. Less is more. If you land on a planet, let's just say 500 of the planets have life on them. I still believe, in my opinion, I think that is still too much, because then you get that No Man's Sky effect where every single planet that you land on has something in it, and then after you land on your 30th planet, you're like, I'm not really excited to explore because I know I'm going to see another weird thing, and you kind of get burnt out way more quickly. So I feel with a 10% of life on a planet, 10% of the planets having life on them would encourage you, and you would feel much more rewarded when you landed on a planet with life. Like, oh my God, look at this, there's life over, you know? So that's the one thing. That's the one, and if you guys need me to elaborate, I can, and I think chat understands. So, Damarco, I guess you're the Starfield man. How do you feel about this? Do you agree with me?
It's so ironic. I actively tell people on my channel that if you're like, I say it in my videos, if you are just following me for Starfield stuff, unsubscribe. Like, if that's all you want, I am not the channel to watch. So,
yeah,
you saying the
That
Starfield
would be the
guy's funny.
Lordfield. That would be the Lordfield.
Yeah, that'd be Lordfield.
No, you're evolving. You gotta start somewhere. I'm just, you know. What I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get you. But what is it? I listen. Do some. We like maths here, and we're all terrible at it. I think we like maths. So if you take 100 planets, and you say, let's say, assume that there's 3 locations on each planet, hypothetically. Now you're looking at 300 locations, which is actually it's right around the ballpark of what Fallout 4 had and what Skyrim had, because Fallout 4 had like 350 and Skyrim had like 320-ish or whatever, something around those numbers. Yeah. And so that's not including, and that's just assuming there's 3 locations per planet with life on it, because the thing is, and we see this in the direct, you rescue the one NPC who's like, hey, do you think I could join your crew? He's just on a moon. There's no life there. So there's stuff to do on those planets without life too. It's not as though the only places that have things to do are is that 10%. And then you think about all the space stations that are there. And then you think of the amount of content in the cities. And King Fanman did this amazing thing where they said they have more quests. They said they have more quests in New Atlantis than any other city they've done in the past. And King Fanman, with a great channel, he did this. He has a King's Cast, and he talked about this, where they have 92 quests in Morrowind, in one town in Morrowind, I think he said, or it was over 60. And so you're gonna put more than that in, or maybe it was 40. There's a lot of quests in a town of Morrowind. There's a lot of quests in a town of Morrowind, and you're gonna put all of that in New Atlantis. So there's so much stuff to do. So it does make it special. And to your point, when you have to find those planets, Red, what you said, you have to find those planets. It's more exciting when you find life. But they've made it perfectly clear when you're analyzing the planet that you know what's to do on them, which ones have life, which ones don't. So it's very, very clear where you can and can't go. And so that makes it easy. So if you want to ignore those lifeless planets, you can ignore those lifeless planets.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I don't 10% is still fine. Like, you know how long it's going to take me to go through 10 planets? That's if I go to every one of them, right? In Starfield. You know how long that's going to take? Yeah. You're looking at 100+ hours just to even think about going through that. And that's not counting your other, the other stuff that you do. You're looking at 150 to 300 hours because of this. Like, that's still fine. Anybody that crabs about 10%, they're just wanting to whine about something. They're just trying to find that one reason to whine about Starfield. Like, it's 10%. That isn't
just a backdrop.
How many?
They're orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too.
Lexi. How many planets? Let's put this out. Let's use our own world, right? Let's use our own galaxy. There's only one, as of right now, there's only one planet that we know of that has life. So take it as is. So that's all I'm saying. So 10% of 1,000 planets working for me.
Yeah, I think it comes back down to the locations. Like, if it's the same amount of locations as you had in Fallout, I know people are always gonna want more. But if it's the same amount, and they were more detailed. Like, that's all I need to hear. I don't care otherwise.
Yeah.
I think the more upsetting thing for people is he openly stated the gameplay loop, which is land on a planet, explore the area, get back in your ship, and fly away. And then find the next thing and land. And I think that should be the thing that people focus on more. Because I don't think that gameplay loop is going to appeal to everybody. I don't. And that's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think it's going to appeal to everyone. Because it's not like Skyrim where you're wandering around, you see the cool thing over there, the cool thing over there, and the dungeons are designed around the environment. So you see this cool waterfall, and there's like this huge like Dwemer ruin that's embedded in the waterfall, and you don't get that in Starfield as much. So,
right, yeah. The thing is, I am definitely of the mind that when it comes to again, when it comes to, and by the way, a lot of people took you land in an area, you explore it a little bit, and then you get out of there. People are like, oh, so you just get around this little area right here, and that's you can only land a la Mass Effect in this one little area. People are like, see, the game sucks. The game sucks. Get L and L.
Well, you can still land anywhere. They say that
anywhere you want. Yes, anywhere. People are just throwing it out the window. Anyway, so Assassin, do you care?
About what specifically? The badges or the gameplay loop?
All of it.
No, I don't. Because when I'm like I said, I'm currently playing Skyrim, like again for like the 4th time. I'm gonna try and get every achievement this time.
He's only a level 4. Don't act like he's playing a lot. Don't let him lie. I've seen this thing level 4.
Level 40, sir. 40. Damn. Are you sure? I know you mentioned before about your dyslexia, but that's not dyslexia, my friend.
No, that's me being an asshole.
No. See, the thing is, about the gameplay loop part, I was doing the Thieves Guild questline all night, going through every single job that Vex and Delvin could give me. The pickpocketing jobs, the burglary jobs, everything. I kept going, I stole, came back, did it again. The gameplay was addicting. I was so happy to steal from everybody that I could. So, regarding the gameplay loop, it just depends on the person. And regarding the badges, what Jake was talking about, I mean, back to Final Fantasy XVI, one of the elements in that game, whenever you go to a new area, you get a badge, you know, to like let the citizens know that you're there to help them. But you don't really see it on Clive at all. You don't like see it on his uniform or on his cape or anything. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool, like if you could see the badges on your suit or whatever you're wearing. I'm just in a situation like, that's cool, but I could care less if it's not there. If it is, great. I don't know, like, I can't get more hyped for Starfield than I already am, you know?
Okay, well, so let's just move on to the other things that are... And by the way, chat, I don't know what's going on. I had to update OBS, and there was a massive delay. So, how about this?
Use Streamlabs.
Use Streamlabs,
no.
please.
What I'm saying is that whenever OBS, and I've heard about this, and now I'm experiencing it. Sometimes
Just
when OBS
use
updates,
Streamlabs, and you won't have that problem.
maybe
You won't have half the problems you have.
Listen, I worked hard to learn OBS, but listen,
And Streamlabs is easier.
I don't know.
Wait.
I don't know yet.
Wait. So you're using OBS because of your pride?
No, yes. Listen, chat. I'm gonna put my thumbs up, and when you see me with my thumbs up, I want you to put a thumbs up in chat so I can sort of gauge where we are. Because I hate when I read a chat and I feel like I'm not ignoring people in the chat, but I'm not like I feel like I'm not seeing them until we're later on in the conversation on your side. I think so. I just want to see where we are in chat. So give me a thumbs up in chat if when you get to where I just thumbed you.
Yo, Damarco, Bushido says, does Damarco read the chat? I want his attention because he's so awesome. I'm a super fan.
No, obviously not, because he spells my name wrong.
Yeah, and then he spelled my name wrong too. My God. Anyway.
Well, he is old.
Is
He
Matt-
can't see. He can't see that much. So.
I mean,
No.
the only name on this podcast you're allowed to get wrong is mine, because mine I had to bastardize it to stand out. But these three, their names are easy to spell and type out. So if you get it wrong, you're not really a fan.
DeMarco, Bushido was kissing your butt last night. You weren't even in there. He was literally talking about how he likes you so much. You're a good fit, and he likes to kiss your ass and stuff. Like, you should have heard him in the chat. I'm not lying to you. The Assassin and Red were both there to hear this. So
I will take your word for it. Thank you.
He's a suck up. He knows you got all those subs. That's why he's doing it now. He's trying to suck her in. So watch him.
Okay.
I've gotten
Hold
really
up.
good. I've gotten really good at sussing those people out, because on my channel I've gotten those folks who are like, let's do something together, and they're just doing it because I had a bigger platform, and I would say yes to it, and then I realized that they never publish another video again, and so I've learned to kind of sort that out, so I can see through your games.
Yeah, I see you. So yeah, there's definitely a big latency, and I apologize to everyone. Let's get into the next thing. So no vehicles. Anyone care about no vehicles in Starfield? I really don't care. There's never been vehicles other than a horse and a dragon in any Bethesda game, and this is kind of par for the course. Does anyone care about
Let's be
no
real. Let's be real. If Bethesda added a car in the creation engine would just flat out die. It would not work. Like, no game would ever work again. If they had a car or a battleship or anything.
Yeah.
That thing cannot handle any. That thing cannot handle any fast movement objects in that engine ever.
Listen,
So, no,
I didn't
it's-
think it would be able to handle a spaceship, but they're doing full-on space combat.
Yes.
Now you
Okay,
can
that
argue,
just,
well,
that
it's
just makes that point even worse.
As long as
No, it
if
makes
they
it
do
better
add
because
one.
you're saying they wouldn't be that engine can't handle anything,
Okay, fair
but I'm
enough,
saying they
fair enough.
subverted expectations by being able to get spaceships in the
Well,
Creation
Okay,
Engine
then
2.
what? Okay. See, here's the thing: if you can fly a spaceship and it goes fast, why can we not have a car? Why can we not have anything on the ground?
Because there's no reason for it. And I'm just gonna speak candidly, and I don't care that I'm gonna piss a lot of people off, is because it literally doesn't matter. Like, there's no benefit to having a land vehicle other than it's cool. And the problem with that is you even look at, like, Mass Effect Andromeda, or even Mass Effect, the original trilogy. Notice how all the planets in that game had the exact same gravity. Like, the Mako responded the exact same way. Now you have something like Starfield, which has all the different terrains that it has. It has all the different gravities that it has. And they need to make a land vehicle that can respond to the physics of the terrain. It can get itself out of it. Because the reason why the Mako had jump jets was so you could get it out from being stuck, which it got stuck a lot. So Bethesda needs to plan around that. They need to plan around all the different gravities. And on top of that, they understand that if they give you a vehicle, then there's going to be this expectation that you're going to be able to drive off into the distance on the planet and find something really cool, when the reality is, and we know this, there's only at most 3 or 4 locations on the planet. So, sure, you might be able to rover yourself off for 4,000, 5,000 meters, but you won't find anything in between. And that's not fun gameplay. And I think Bethesda understands that, because Todd Howard actively acknowledges that we know, and we ask the same questions that you guys do. So it's just not fun gameplay to drive 4,000 meters, you see 3 resources off in the distance, and there's nothing in between. And in Starfield's case, it'd be a lot more than 4,000. You'd have miles, literal miles. So if you've ever played No Man's Sky, when you have it takes 30 minutes to fly to a planet if you're not using your warp drive, that'd be 3 hours to get to the next location in your rover.
I just want to point something out to chat. I get where Damarco's coming from, I really do. And in that case, I'm retracting my statement, and I'm going to let him have this battle. But here's the thing about what he said earlier. When he said, if you're just here to watch him ramble on about Starfield, that you shouldn't subscribe, it's this moment where people get confused and like, wait, he knows so much about Starfield and Bethesda. Like, is he like playing mind games with me? Should I subscribe? Should I not? I'm gonna subscribe just in case. It's moments like these where I'm reminded how passionate he is about this game, and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to win this fight, so I'm just gonna leave myself. I'm just gonna walk back out of here. So yeah, I get the point, and yeah, if you're gonna go from one settlement to the other, and it's that far away, I can see why some people would be, like, nah, this is gonna get boring. But yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if the game's not fun during that amount of time going between settlements, then yeah, I can see your point, yeah. Unless they had vehicle combat, but then again, that's asking too much.
It'd be different though. Yeah. If Bethesda made it and they had 3 planets in the game, and those 3 were stuffed with places to go, and it was more not Outer Worlds small, but like smaller, you had boundaries to the map, then it would make more sense to me. Then Bethesda, because that's the direction they're going, and they might have said, okay, let's put in the vehicles, because then we could get around and be cool for players to do. But they're not doing that. They're doing land anywhere on the planet, and that you need to design around that. And their world's designed to be explored on foot, I think ultimately is a positive thing, personally. But there's people that are going to agree with you don't have to retract your statement, Assassin, because there's people that are going to agree with you that say there should be vehicles in the game. Because the interesting thing, and I'll be very brief about this, but the interesting thing is Bethesda's at this weird juxtaposition where they got so many different fans that are coming into their games. You have the Skyrim audience, the Starfield audience, who are, like, a lot of Starfield fans are coming from games like Star Citizen, where you could do those things. And they're saying, why aren't there rovers? So, people agree with you. So you have this weird clash of audiences that are coming into BGS, and I don't think anybody's gonna get us along as well as they used to when it was just Fallout and Elder Scrolls anymore. So that's
if Starfield could be the game where Elder Scrolls fans, Fallout fans, and Space fans all together could coexist, then that'd be a great game. But we know that's not gonna happen. Starfield is gonna appeal to some Elder Scrolls fans, it's going to appeal to some Fallout fans, and it's going to appeal to a whole new audience, which it's going to have when it comes out, so. Amazing
Fantastic.
times for Bethesda Game Studios.
And chat, I'm lowering my bit rate. I'm trying to fix the latency, that way I can keep up with you guys, because I want everyone to feel included in chat, and so my apologies there. But
Bitrate won't change your latency. There's like an embedded stream feature in YouTube that determines how much there is.
well, and again, I did mention earlier that my internet in my whole entire county went down today, and I was like, oh, we're not gonna have it. So yeah, okay. Anyway, so this is all that I can do. And I just want to catch up on chat because Ace Shibe. I'm sorry. Everyone is forgetting about
call him
searching.
Ace.
Ace, yes. Everyone is forgetting about searching these random planets for the alien ruins world / shout walls. What that they showed for a split second. Yeah, there's a lot of that too. We're gonna have space shouting with our fingers. So that'll be something to look forward to.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How would you guys feel, now that Bethesda's part of Xbox and a part of Microsoft, like, this is kind of a pipe dream for some people, but it would be really exciting for people like me, and Mac too, I know he would like it. What if they announce, or not announce, but what if they say that they plan to do a Halo-inspired DLC for Starfield, or like a Halo event, or like one like a full-on quest line where at the end you get like Master Chief's armor, you get like you get his weapons, you get the blade and everything.
What?
You think that's a possibility?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
No,
No, I don't think it is. I think
it was too much to dream.
I don't think it will. Nah, if you ever look at Bethesda's history, even in the past, they've never went out of their way to add something like out of like another game into their game. They've always just did their own thing. They ain't worried about other people. So
Yeah, literally the only thing connecting both Elder Scrolls and Fallout is literally a pastry, a sweet roll. That's it.
Alright, I'm trying something here. Let's see if this breaks my stream. This will be great. Let's see what happens. Okay, anyway, so the other news with Starfield specifically was Todd Howard confirmed that there are 4 romances. 4 romances.
4.
Yeah. Which, I think I fixed it.
That was while you think you fixed it. That was one of those messy. that was one of those messy comments from Todd where we know that there's more than 4 companions in the game, but the way he phrased it is something that I just and it's been argued a lot of different ways. Where it's like, all right, he said explicitly, you have 4 companions that are romanceable and have full quest lines. So do others have full quest lines but aren't romanceable? Are others romanceable but don't have full quest lines? Is that the only 4 fleshed out companions and the others are kind of like all the equivalent of Skyrim companions where a lot of them have the most minimal personality possible so that they could be considered a companion, and just break that threshold? So what did he actually mean by that comment? And that was one of those things that Todd Howard said that I go, ugh, well, what's going on here? What are we really looking at? So, as long as they're fleshed out, at the end of the day, even if Todd Howard turned around and said, no, there's literally only 4 companions in the game, again, that's not true. But even if that was the case, I would say, as long as they're all... Has anybody else tried Inigo, the mod Inigo, for Skyrim, by any chance?
I did, when I had it on a PC back in the day, yes I did.
Okay, so you've been blessed by trying out Inigo. He is like the best follower.
Yes.
Hands down the best follower in any Bethesda game, and he's from a mod. So if you had 4 Inigo style companions, I would go, yes, fantastic, even though you're cutting it by more than half from what you had in Fallout 4. More than half. It was like 13, I think, in Fallout 4.
Didn't the mod that create Inigo get hired by Bethesda?
I wouldn't be surprised if the voice actor didn't at least. Oh my god.
Because I know Bethesda recently hired another mod from the Fallout New London mod, right? Yeah, they did.
Yes, yeah, they just got a new hire for level design, I think.
Yeah, see, the thing is, Bethesda has so many mods working on their games. I know this is gonna sound like out of touch, but you have a dedicated team of mods that love your work right there. Wouldn't it be possible to just bring them on board?
What? Yeah,
I get some people maybe more qualified than others, but
keep in mind, they are more qualified. But keep in mind too, you're talking, you could maybe have some freelancers come on board to help out with certain things, but if you're talking about full-time employees, keep in mind, ZeniMax is the only, as far as I know, the only gaming studio that actually has unionized workers too. So, like, if you're talking about bringing them on full-time, there's a lot of strings attached from that alone.
Yeah.
But just, so,
yeah,
and that's not including...
I forgot about the unionization, yeah.
Yeah, and even if they didn't, that's not including health benefits, tax things, and all the other stuff that goes into hiring a single employee. Like, I don't think anybody really understands if you haven't been in charge of hiring or upper management. But yeah, freelancers would be cool to have more.
Yeah, and the interactivity in Inigo is definitely... So I have him, Lucian, and oh my god, what's the big dude? What's the big dude with this katana? Kaiden. They call it it's not Kaiden, it's Kaiden in the game. But they all talk to each other because all the mod, and it's chef's kiss. It is so good, and it's because it's modernized. Like, yes, games do that nowadays, but like Mass Effect does it these days. So like you bring a certain companion along with you, and another companion they'll talk to each other. But Inigo and Lucian together is so good because they'll talk to, like, Lucian will be like, Inigo, let's sing a song together, and then they'll be like, okay, are you ready? And then it's so good. Like,
that is not a bad impression.
Oh, Mr. Butterfly. Oh, la, la. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's what I'll do.
The worst.
Thank you. It's not. You know what, man? That's not the worst. So what the hell? What the hell were we talking about? So 4 romances. I just wish that he wouldn't have said anything at all when it comes to that, because now that I know the limit, it's like, well, now I'm just not gonna have sex with anyone. So that sucks. Mac, do you care about romance for 4 people? Is that not enough?
No, not really. I'm just gonna play the game.
I don't care about the romance side of it. I think it's worth mentioning. I really don't care about the romance.
If I need to have romance, I'll just go in my bedroom. I'm just saying, I don't need all that. Just saying.
Hell yeah.
I'm not.
Giggity. Love that. Thank you, Todd, for only giving us 4 whole options for sex.
Well, that's just like real life. 4 holes. So okay, carry on. All right.
Well, that's how we do it here, baby. Let's see. Oh yeah,
actually 13.
Well, okay, so we'll have to talk about that later.
Do you want to do it?
He might be getting 50 Cent's body with the 9 holes in the... Okay, carry on. Just carry on.
Oh, man. God, Chad is going to fly. I wish you guys could hear these sound effects that I'm doing there. I'm nailing it. No pun intended. And so then there was the other one that Todd says, yes, there's going to be a radio. But I think he said it's only really for one little area, one little city. Or maybe just one system, I guess, right? Is that what we're thinking? So we're not gonna have
probably anywhere in the United Colonies territory, because you had the Settled Systems News Network is a building that's in New Atlantis, so it's probably limited.
It's gonna
imagine you're on your spaceship, you're just going through
Sorry.
And you're just going through a star system, and then you hear that radio that he mentioned, and he's like. The person on the radio mentions a vault or something, and you go, wait, what?
Yeah.
Come down to Vault 76.
Yeah, Vault 1,745,000.
And then 1950s music starts playing. Like, wait, hold up, Fallout.
They are not putting any 76 references in Starfield.
God, that is death on the water. Speaking of death on the water,
yeah, that is.
So let's talk about the FTC.
No!
And
God!
Honestly, okay,
no,
well, let's talk.
God, please, no!
All right, well, just for 1 sec.
No!
All right, so.
Does he have to go piss again?
No, everything's fine. You're not understanding what's happening, but chat hopefully is having a good time, and thank you all so much for being here. So Inigo, we named one of our goats after Inigo, and she is purplish, gray, whitish, and Inigo is what we named her. So, yes. One of the things I love there, man, I don't want to go on a tangent. So anyway, let's talk about the FTC, because I am so with you, Damarco. I pride myself on not politicizing video game the industry and all that. It's all about fun, but this is so good. I have never been so hooked onto listening in on a case where I'm like, oh, it's like watching Judge Judy, except like it's so good.
I'd compare it more to the Amanda Show. Do you remember the Amanda Show with the judge?
Amanda
and
Show.
they bring in the dancing lobsters. It's more like that.
No idea what the hell you're talking about, but now I want to go watch it. I love that. So
It's old 90s show.
Okay, gotcha. So,
Nickelodeon.
Assassin, are you comfortable with sort of leading us into this topic here and talking about how badass this judge is? Being like, shut the fuck, and man, it's so good. I love
Judge Corley?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the judge overseeing the trial. Yeah.
Yes.
So ironically, I was briefing Twitter before we actually started the show, and we got some reports that Judge Corley, is not at all being convinced by the arguments from the FTC or Sony on their claims of buying ABK would be anti-competitive. So,
Yeah.
in terms of the ABK deal, like the hearing. Did you want to start with Indiana Jones?
I think that might be I think maybe just start with the PlayStation comments, because that's what's going on literally right now or today. Like what Jim Ryan has been saying.
Oh, but yeah, the things that he's been saying, during that 1 hour deposition that he had, Hold on 1 second. Of course, the one time I want my phone to work during this damn podcast, it doesn't work.
Yeah, so
until my phone starts working, let's just talk about Indy for a second.
Alright, so
Bashida was asking why Indy is so big on the thumbnail red, and you kind of owe him an answer.
Mac, are you excited for Indiana Jones game at all?
Nope.
No.
Not
Okay.
at all.
All right. So I'll take this while Assassin looks up his thing. So it's been revealed through the FTC hearings. There's a lot of juicy tidbits of info that are coming out. Things that are really cool to see, in my opinion, because I've always said that it would be great if the gaming industry was more transparent. And obviously, there's a lot of secrets that are coming out that probably shouldn't be. And there's things that could be secrets, but there's also a level of transparency that I like seeing that's coming out of it. And one of the things that was brought up was Indiana Jones is going to officially be an Xbox game exclusive. It is not coming to PlayStation, and that is interesting because we have heard that there's some titles, but that Microsoft is still unsure about. So Elder Scrolls 6 did come out. There's the tragic news that has arrived that Elder Scrolls 6 is, and I'm gonna cry, 5+ years away. It's literally going to be like 30 years since between Elder Scrolls releases, which is insanity. But they said that they weren't sure about Elder Scrolls 6 yet because it's too far away. We don't know what we're doing. But Indiana Jones is close enough where they know it's going to be exclusive to the Xbox playing platform.
That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too.
Thanks, Lexi. So yeah, there's also been some rumors going around about it that it's going to be both first and third person, but not like you choose, not Starfield first and third where you choose to when to switch, but it does it for you, which was kind of interesting and strange. But I don't know. Do you think that that's a good thing, Assassin? I guess maybe you can speak to it a bit because you're actually excited for Indiana Jones. I think Mac's not. So
I am just not super hyped. Let me just say that. I'm gonna play it, but I'm not
I'm kind of where Mac is right now, where I would like to see the game first before pulling up the hype level any more than what it kind of already is. Like, in terms of Indiana Jones being on the list,
Who's making the game again?
Machine Games.
That's what I thought.
The team behind Wolfenstein, yeah.
I know it. Yeah.
Which it's being led by Todd Howard, and I don't know if this is worth mentioning at all, but Todd Howard, his favorite movie of all time is Raiders of the Lost Ark, pretty much. So
it is,
and he's serving as executive producer for this at Machine Games. So just worth I think that's worth a mention, because when you have that much passion towards a project, it really does elevate it.
Yeah, see, the thing is, when it comes to indie being first or third person, this kind of harks back to a conversation between me and Red, where we're like, we wish that the games we play give you an option of playing first or third person, but here, it seems like they kind of give you what you wanted, but also doing something that they want to do. Like, I know for, like, the combat, maybe, when you're going around the open world and you're opening tombs and you're fighting Nazis, that's probably in third person. I can see more of the cinematics and maybe some gameplay segments where it would be first person. But overall, considering the pedigree of Machine Games and the games that they've made with Wolfenstein, like, this game's going to be very good. Todd Howard even said in a recent interview as well that he is very excited for Indiana Jones. Like, this is a very personal and passionate project of his as well. So I want to get hyped for it, but I want to see it first.
What about the exclusivity side of it? Do you think that's a good move for ZeniMax or for Bethesda? It's not really their choice anymore, because Microsoft is telling them make it exclusive. But do you think that's the right choice for a game like Indiana Jones?
Yes and no.
Yes, I think
yes and no.
Yeah,
I think it is.
I would say yes and no, and here's why. The reason I'm saying no is because as much as I disagree with Red in terms of Spider-Man, if an IP is big as indie, I think it should be played on all platforms. I think it should. But in this case,
the business point
Microsoft, the business point of view, that's what I'm talking about. But Microsoft, Xbox, they need exclusives to sell the Xbox Series X. They need to get rid of that whole, we cannot develop a single-player, story-driven game. Indiana Jones is the perfect opportunity to change that. They don't really have a quote-unquote Uncharted type of game. This is, again, indie would fill that role perfectly. Like, I get why it has to be exclusive, and I see the possibilities if it was exclusive, how big that could be for Machine Games, for Microsoft, for Bethesda, and for Disney. I'm torn. Like, I get, it's similar to Final Fantasy 16, right? I get why it's exclusive, but I wish it wasn't. Because this is an IP that should be played by everybody. This game was not created by Microsoft or Bethesda. It was created by Lucasfilm. They should be the ones deciding where it should go. But I completely understand why Microsoft and Bethesda would be like, hey, we need a game, or we need to make this game Xbox and PC only. And to the whole point of taking games away from PlayStation, I was watching a video from Oh No, It's Alex last night, and he brings up a good point. You cannot take away a game from a platform where it wasn't going to be in the first place. Like, most people don't know this, but almost every game, unless you are being specific about the platforms you want to make it on, most games are typically made on PC. John Johannes, who I talked about earlier with Hi-Fi Rush, he mentioned that around the time of the Activision of Bethesda by Microsoft, Hi-Fi Rush was only playable on PC. Had the Xbox Activision come out or happened later, I would see where Hi-Fi Rush came out on PlayStation, but by the time that the acquisition happened, it was only playable on PC. So when Xbox acquired Bethesda, and therefore it acquired Tango, it was the obvious decision to not make a PlayStation version and to make only an Xbox version. Same applies here with indie. Like, by the time, I guarantee you, by the time the acquisition happened, they had just signed, or they just agreed to put it on PlayStation, but Microsoft and Bethesda were like, no, we'll keep it to ourselves. So in terms of exclusivity for Indiana Jones, I'm happy about it for Xbox fans, but I'm not necessarily happy about it for PlayStation fans. It's kind of like a have a cake and eat it too. So that's pretty much how I feel about it.
You think that have a cake and eat it too is you referring to Xbox?
Yes, basically.
Okay.
I want to hold on real quick. Go ahead, Red. My bad. I wanted to add something on there real quick.
No, go ahead. It's on the tip of the old butthole, as they say in the old West.
You know, like you said, you gotta understand, like from, like you said, Microsoft's point of view. Like Indiana Jones is huge. There's a lot of old heads in this community that love Indiana Jones. There's no reason not to do what they're gonna do with it. And if all this FTC news that's coming out, it's that Microsoft is pretty much telling Sony to go fuck yourself, since they tried to buy exclusivity with Starfield for a year, and Microsoft said, fuck it, we're just going to buy the company and it's going to be ours. I think this is the smartest thing they've ever done, because you need these exclusivities, and if they need to get Indiana Jones only on Xbox, let it be. It just has to happen. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Bring it to the console. And like I said, I mean, I hate it. Like you said, it sucks that we're in that scenario where we have to have games on certain platforms, but it's like a business thing. You know, if that was the case, then none of us would own an Xbox. If Microsoft lost Starfield, I think they would have lost this generation too, and I think we wouldn't be talking about Xbox in 10 years. They had to do what they had to do. So Indiana Jones is just another tip of the iceberg of why they're doing the right thing.
Can I bring up a really interesting caveat to this conversation, which is, has anybody seen the emails from Pete Hines?
Oh yeah, him in 2019. In 2019, he goes, "Oh, we're gonna pretty much buy him out, pretty much." Like,
no, from Pete Hines, where
okay, which one's those?
This is coming out during recently, and it was emails from Pete Hines where he was expressing his confusion about why Call of Duty is able to remain on PlayStation, and they're saying Call of Duty has a promise to remain on PlayStation, but he says, I'll just read it. I'm confused. And it is the below, referencing Call of Duty will continue to remain on PlayStation, not the opposite of what we were just asked, in parentheses, told, to do with our own titles. What's the difference? And there's a second email that said, was surprised to also read the blurb below, same concept, so Call of Duty on PlayStation, and yesterday's Xbox post. I understand that there's likely nuance here, but at its core, it's being read as the opposite of what happened with us, as is mentioned in the article covering the blog post. Just want to make sure I understand. I think about the above when speaking to the dev/employees who ask, as well as for Todd, myself, and anyone else that might get asked about it in interviews. So his concern is coming from a place of, you don't think that journalists are going to press him on why we're getting exclusive but not Call of Duty. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. You could, there's that insinuation. It's like, why are we being, it's that passive aggressiveness there. Like, why are we being told what to do? But they get different treatment.
Yeah.
So is he not happy with exclusivity because he too wants like everybody to just be able to play Starfield, and he wants everybody to play? Because then you have other comments too, like Starfield would never have come out if they didn't have if they had to develop it with PlayStation. It would have come out much later. So there's like some interesting stuff going on.
Right. I think at the core of it, Pete Hines is a he's kind of like a. Like, man, I kind of feel bad because I am seeing in my bubble a lot of people actually excited that are kind of sad that they don't get to play it. Pete Hines is notoriously has taken a hiatus from Twitter. I don't know if he's back now, but I remember there was a time where he said, "I'm done with Twitter. I cannot deal with this." And so Pete Hines is not seeing the absolute toxicity of the opposite side of people who just hate everything about Starfield just because it's not on their piece of plastic. So I can understand with somebody that has horse blinders on where Pete is coming from, and he's like, yeah, I can see the people that I've talked to, the few people that I've talked to that are like, man, I kind of wish it would have come out to my console. I can understand that, but business is business, and if I was the one missing out on Starfield because it was only on PlayStation, I would be super upset. I would be one of those people like, that sucks, man. Like, that seriously sucks. But Pete Hines, being, I guess, the person that he is, And honestly, and also to touch on the idea of the scrutiny of why now are we being questioned about exclusivity when PlayStation's bread and butter is exclusivity, and this is their whole branding assassin. Well, branding meaning, you know what I mean, not branding, but that is like what they are known for, is their exclusives. And now all of a sudden, because there is this vocal wave of people saying this isn't right, how could you put Starfield on just one piece of plastic? Well, 2 pieces of plastic. Well, pieces.
3
of
if you
plastic.
count 3 if you count TVs through the Xbox game streaming
Cloud.
Yeah.
Right.
cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
xCloud, yeah.
Many more pieces of plastic.
Which,
That's
by
not me
the way-
defending exclusivity. I don't like exclusivity, but
I don't either. It's not good. It's
Yeah.
not good for
Yeah.
consumers. I don't like it. And the thing is,
Totally
and by the way, they mentioned cloud as something. They're like, oh, so cloud is, so that market. What did the judge say, Assassin? She goes, what market? What market? What cloud market? And they say we use cloud to try things out, to test things out. There is not a market there. We're using cloud as an opportunity. Go ahead.
Yeah, what the whole situation about the cloud is that someone, I think it was Jim Ryan, he said the cloud market is not big enough yet. It'll probably be between 2025 and 2035 when the cloud will be a sustainable market for everybody to jump into. Now, one thing that the judge also talked about, or that she asked, I'm sure a lot of you have heard that PlayStation and the FTC are trying to get Nintendo thrown out. It's like, oh, there are separate markets. They're smaller than us. They're completely different than us and Xbox. But here's something that the judge kind of did a 180 on them. So I'm paraphrasing here, but this is the gist of it. She asked, is the PC considered a market? Some people said, or the FTC said yes. If you combine PlayStation and Xbox together, that wouldn't even pertain to half the PC market. Right? Mm-hmm. So then she says, well, wait a minute. If the PC is not being included in these arguments because it's bigger, why are we excluding Nintendo because it's quote-unquote smaller? Like, you can't just leave out Nintendo but keep PC in there based on the market and how big the market is, right? So therefore, their argument about xCloud not being a sustainable market because it's too small holds no merit either. And I did pull up the whole Jim Ryan, or I basically got 2 things what he said today. He says, again, paraphrasing here, he views the Activision Blizzard deal as anti-competitive, but he does not consider Starfield's exclusivity as anti-competitive. You're kind of circling the wagon here, Jim.
So these, you know what, I want to say that this whole thing is just showing, like, that PlayStation and Microsoft ain't as good as people think they are. They're all just a bunch of hypocrites.
They're not.
They're just fighting each other for this right of all this, and it's just kind of like whatever side you're on, you're just hoping for which evil is taking your money a little bit less to give it. They're giving you more for the money. It's kind of the scenario. So it's stupid. It's dumb. Bunch of shit. They're like arguing, and like I said, the FTC clearly is stupid. They don't know what they're talking about, and at the end of the day, we already see that. I think Thursday can be the earliest this judge can kind of like cancel this and pretty much just say, all right, you know what, this is over with. We're not gonna thank Bob Cusack and what's the guy's name? That's the head person. He's the Indian dude. I can't think of his freaking name, and I'm brain farting right now. What his name is?
The Indian dude.
I don't
Brain
remember his
farting?
freaking name. No, I don't remember his name. But they're gonna get on the stand tomorrow. Him and Bob Cusack is gonna get on the stand tomorrow, and they're gonna pretty much
Kareem?
talk. Is that what his name is? I don't remember what his name is.
Are you talking about the head of the cloud gaming division at Microsoft?
Yeah, he's a bald-headed guy. Bald-headed Indian
Jason-
guy.
Those baldies.
Jason
all right.
Ronald?
I don't know what his damn name is. Like I said,
I don't
But
know either.
pretty much Thursday, this shit will be over with, man. There ain't no reason to worry about this shit anymore. Microsoft is buying this company, man. Just they need to move on from this shit, dude.
Yeah, second thing that I wanted to point out that I wanted us to discuss, he stated that publishers in general do not like Game Pass.
That's a lie.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You don't
Right,
get a
so-
success like Hi-Fi Rush, or even like I don't know how well Planet of Lana performed, but I don't think a game like that really would have performed at
So,
all, if I'm being
DeMarco.
honest.
So
without
here's-
something like Game Pass.
So DeMarco, let me just say this real quick.
Pentiment
because-
exists because of Game Pass.
Exactly. So I actually listened to, shout out to Xbox Era, friend of the show. Not kidding. I'm just kidding. They don't know me.
No, they're
But
not.
Special Nick and the crew had an interview with the director of Planet of Lana, and super sweet dude. And he talked about their journey and their relationship with Microsoft, and he said that we have nothing but good things to say. And he talked about how they gave them essentially what it came down to is that Planet of Lana was a passion project to begin with, and because of Microsoft's backing, their encouragement is what made it what it was. And we know from multiple developers that whenever you get a Game Pass deal through Microsoft, you not only get all of your money up front, essentially, and more, you also get bonuses, depending on the download, how many people download the game, how many people play the game, how many hours are spent, blah, 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 blah. So it's sort of like a win-win for these indie developers. And people are willing to take more risks whenever they do get a deal like that. And Microsoft has always said, like, yeah, do what you want. We want, and to their own detriment. We've had the is Microsoft too hands off with their games? We've had that talk before. But for the developers, financially, creatively, they have more freedom than they ever have in this industry, in gaming, whenever it comes to Game Pass deals like this. So someone correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't heard of any nightmare situation that has come out of, I really wish I hadn't gone to Game Pass. Somebody keep me honest. I'm pretty sure I have never heard of anything.
I think there was one game that they said that they would have made more money if they wouldn't have done Game Pass, but without Game Pass, they wouldn't have probably been where they're at. And I don't know, and they even talked about like they wish they would have tried it the other way, but I can't remember what it was. And it was like it was a little indie team. It was nothing big. It was so. I
think it was Somerville.
Was that what? Yeah, was that what? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you.
Yeah,
you
the team behind Somerville recently came out in the past couple months saying that Game Pass, while it was successful in getting the game more mind share, it wasn't necessarily sales-wise successfully.
But a lot of those people, yeah, but a lot of people, they wouldn't have never touched it if it weren't for Game Pass,
yes.
which we all know. And they seemingly acknowledged. But the other thing too is I don't think you're gonna get a lot of those stories where like Game Pass was a horrible mistake unless you're looking at a studio like a Starfield-sized game. You're not gonna really hear that Game Pass was a horrible decision. We are this because it needs to. There's a couple requirements for that. One, it would have to be a third-party studio, and two, it'd have to be a third-party studio that's willing to never get a game from them on Game Pass again. And any big enough studio's not gonna throw that relationship and burn that bridge, right? So, but you would maybe see if something like, I don't know, Immortals of Avium is an indie game. If something like What? Immortals of Avium is an indie game? Is that what you're wanting?
Yeah, they said it's a AAA game.
You mean 33 Immortals?
Not an indie. You mean 33 Immortals?
No, Immortals of Avium. It's by an independent studio.
Well, yeah, it's an independent studio, but when you say indie, we...
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I was like,
typically indie means different than AAA.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's by an independent studio. It's an indie game.
It's a AAA independent studio. Yeah. Keep going.
But something on a Starfield level, they would have to come out and they would have to be like, no, it was a mistake because we could have gotten so much more money and so many more in sales if we had done it. That was it.
Okay. So
Mac, do you want to go or me?
Or fine. I already said what I had to say. So
okay. So Assassin, if you have more to say, go ahead. Big.
I haven't said anything yet.
All right, listen. I'm not gonna press.
You keep forgetting me.
You continue. Just continue. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so I was talking with Arcane Realm about this earlier today. When Jim Ryan says publishers do not like Game Pass, I have no idea what he's talking about here. Phil Spencer said this a couple years back, and it's always stuck with me since. If a game launches on Game Pass, that's great. When a publisher talks with Microsoft about putting a game on Game Pass, again, it depends on is this game going to sell? Is it going to hit the numbers? Is it going to hit the metrics? Will this get more Game Pass people to subscribe to the service? Right? If you want to know if a game has been successful on Game Pass from a publisher, ask yourself this. How many publishers have gone back and put their other games or upcoming games on Game Pass? We've seen this recently with Capcom. They had Resident Evil on the service back in the day. They're going to launch Exoprimal in a couple weeks. And they recently announced Path of the Goddess coming to Game Pass as well. We are seeing this with Sega Atlas. Persona 3, 4, and 5 came to the service. Now Persona 3 Remake is coming to the service. Persona 5 Tactica is coming to the service. No word on Metaphor, but you know, that's a new IP. I can understand why Sega and Atlas don't want to put it on the service yet. We've seen this with so many developers and publishers putting their games on Game Pass so many times over the years. They're putting their old games on the service, putting upcoming games on the service. In the past 2 or 3 years, I've seen maybe 3 stories, like I mentioned before with Somerville, the team that made Outriders, People Can Fly, Square Enix. They said they haven't gotten their money back on that game, which apparently they probably did, considering they just signed an agreement with Microsoft to make a new IP. $50 million budget, but we can talk about that later. I don't understand, Jim, when you say publishers don't like Game Pass, because from what I'm seeing, the publishers that have double dipped, triple dipped, quadruple dipped, putting their games in the service, they seem very happy. Indie gamers as well, or indie developers, Squanch Games, anybody remember High on Life? That game was the highest single-player game launch on Game Pass. Still is. Same with Atomic Heart. That game exceeded Munfish's expectations of how many people traded on Game Pass. So much so that they actually sold more on Xbox than they did on PlayStation. Which is insane, because you never hear that. So when I hear publishers don't like Game Pass, I don't understand. And to Arcane's point, because he pointed it out, a AAA game launching into Game Pass would not be as successful right now because they don't have the amount of subscribers yet, right? So they have an estimated of 30. If you want to have a Game Pass AAA game launch into Game Pass where, like, oh, we had 10 million people there in the first week, you had 15 people playing it on Game Pass, you have to reach higher. You have to have a more substantial amount of subscribers on Game Pass. Like, in my opinion, they would need probably 100 million subscribers to where a AAA game launches into Game Pass. Not only does it exceed Game Pass metrics, but it exceeds the sales that they want.
Starfield.
That the publisher or developer wants. Yes. Starfield. Mac. Remember what happened with Forza Horizon 5? How many people jumped in the first week?
The first week it was 2 million, and then
No, that was the first day.
That was the first day with the VIP shit, and then I think was it 10 million or something like that. It was up
It was
there.
10 million. Yes,
Yeah.
That's another people have to consider. Is the game quality good? Is the studio new, or is it a studio that we all know and love? Like, all of that has an influence on whether people will try a game on Game Pass, if they like it or not, and are they going to buy it. I guarantee, and Red, we talked about this last week or a couple weeks ago. You said, and I quote, "My Game Pass subscription ends in October, but I'm still going to buy Starfield."
Yeah.
If the game is that good, you'll buy it, whether it's on a subscription service or not.
Yes.
Once Microsoft starts shipping off first-party games, where it is that good, you have to buy the game, even if it's on Game Pass, that is when we'll start seeing more AAA games come into the service, and that's when we'll start seeing it be more successful. To where Microsoft and everybody in the industry wants it to be. But they have to have that first-party game output first. Starfield, I hope it's the start of that, man. I really do. And from everything that Todd the God Howard is showing, it seems like it.
The thing is, with popularity comes the absolute toxicity of the opposite side of any kind of fan base. So once you become super loved, on the other hand, the hate comes in for people who are like, how dare you love this? I can't agree with you, so eat my ass, and disagree with everything that you say. So I think that Starfield hopefully will overcome, after a couple months, will overcome the hatred of the opposition of people who just want to hate on it and just are gonna scream and cry about it, other than go get it on PC or play it on, or buy an Xbox and play it. But I think once that hump is overcome, I think Starfield should be the big, the new flagship, or as I said, Starship title for Xbox, to say, hey, come over here. This is something worth buying. And it's something I was going to ask Mac earlier. Do you think, in Assassin 2, do you think Final Fantasy 16 is a game worth buying, spending over $500 on a PlayStation? Do you think that's worth it? Do you think if Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, and whatever, Silent Hill 2 or whatever was bundled in God of War, 4 games were bundled into a $500.
4 games? You said 4 games?
4 games. Let's say
4 games.
Let's say God of War, Spider-Man 2. Whatever the
you already got. That's it right there. I mean, you could 4 games. Yes, I would say yes. $500. Yes.
$500.
Yes, if you want to play a game, a console, or you want to play a certain game like Spider-Man or Final Fantasy, and then you get 3 other games on top of it, named God of War or Spider-Man or Starfield or whatever the hell it is, I personally think, I think that would. You're getting a banger. You're getting what you want, right? Let's say Final Fantasy 16 is what I want, right? Then you get. It's almost like buying ice cream, but then them throwing in some gummy worms or some nerds or some type of candy on top of it. Something. Oh wow!
Sprinkles, cherries.
Sprinkles. Yeah, like this is an add-on. Like it's like, oh, this is what you're saying. So yes, I do think if a bundle that could get for 4 games, I personally think even 2 games would be worth it when it comes to these AAA big bangers. I definitely think if you can get 2 of them right off rip, but I'm not going to say go buy a PlayStation 5 if you're only going to play 1 game and then get rid of it. I don't think any person in their mankind should do that. But I did buy a PlayStation 5 for Spider-Man 2, but everything else is just an add-on. So that's how I look at it.
I bought a PlayStation 5 because every exclusive they had in the pipeline appealed to me and made me excited. I wanted to play Ratchet & Clank. I wanted to play Demon's Souls, Returnal, God of War, everything. These are the games that I love, and they hit for me. They exceeded my expectations, and it was well worth... Almost every game that I played from PlayStation Studios was worth the $70. At least to me. That includes Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man 2. It's gonna be great. Almost every game I've got for PlayStation was great. It was well worth the $500, but to Red's point, if it was 1 game, I wouldn't have bought the PS5. If it was 2, that's when I think, okay, well maybe. But 3, 4, 5, 6 plus, absolutely. And I guarantee you, Starfield is gonna be first, and then Forza, and then Hellblade, then Avowed, and it's gonna kick off, and everybody's gonna be like, okay, I have to go get an Xbox. I have to.
Okay, well look, so I mean, and I guess the reason that I asked that, I just want to know everyone's opinion on that, because without bias aside, whenever I hear about a game like Starfield, that is, I don't want to say like endless, but look at Skyrim right now. Look at Skyrim. Look at Fallout. Look at any of those games right now in their lifespan, and someone says, yeah, you can play any of those things on PC. And if we get into the PC entry point, whenever it comes to the price point. Spend $800 on a nice laptop to play pretty much anything up until 2018 or whatever at a decent frame rate. You're looking at a console that you press the A button and the game starts via, granted that the optimization and everything is there, and that's on the developers and the updates that the console gets. Skyrim, Fallout, all those Bethesda games live on, and they just never die. Do you guys think that it's a weird question to ask, because it's like all about taste. It is a bit subjective. But the type of game that Starfield is, the type of game that Elder Scrolls 6 is, Fallout 5, those kind of games, do you think those are more, do you think that one of those games should entice people to buy a console? Starfield is all that we have right now.
Yes, Starfield is 100% it. Why wouldn't you think that?
If you go on the Starfield subreddit on Reddit, there's at least 4 or 5 posts I saw recently where they said, I'm either going to upgrade my PC or I want to buy an Xbox for Starfield. Is it worth it?
Yes.
Everybody in those threads are like, yes.
Yes.
It's weird because, like, you can say that about Starfield, right? I can naturally say that I would buy an Xbox for Starfield. But 2 of us here are guaranteed to be more Xbox guys. I'm not saying Assassin or Damarco are more Xbox, clearly. But me and Red are clearly Xbox guys when it comes down to it at the end of the day. If I had to choose a console, it would be my Xbox. So we're saying yes to the Starfield thing, but we're saying no to a PlayStation thing of only one game. But it's like, it's a scenario where it's like, it just kind of just, I think it just varies off on your own opinion or your own theory on why you want to buy this game. Starfield, we all know this game. If you played any Bethesda game, you can easily, even just the main campaign, you can put 20 hours in, 20 to 30 hours in any Bethesda game that you played now ever, and from back to Morrowind to Oblivion to Skyrim to Fallout to any of these games, you can easily put 20 hours in and not even think about it. So it's kind of weird that and I enjoy that, but somebody might not enjoy that, so they might think, fuck Starfield. I'm not going to buy an Xbox because that's not for me. So they'd have to find something else. So it just varies on your theory on what people really, really enjoy. My buddy literally only buys a PlayStation to play basketball with his cousin. He does not even care about anything else on that console. He literally spent $400 on a digital PlayStation 5 to play NBA 2K with his cousins. Well, it's kind of weird because it's a scenario. It just varies on what your situation is. Anybody can. It's hard to say if you should. Is it really worth buying it because of that? Like I'm sorry. It just goes off person to person and like their opinions and their thoughts on games. Somebody that is a casual, I wouldn't buy a whole console for one game that's only going to play at Xbox maybe an hour or two a week. But somebody that's going to play, Starfield for 10 hours plus a week, I would say, yeah, go buy that. Spend that $500 or $300 for the Series S or $350 for the 1 terabyte one. I mean, you could do stuff like that. I mean, I would recommend that if you're only going to play one game. But if it just varies. It's kind of like everybody has a different card, a different hand, It varies on that situation. So, like, Arcane, clearly he likes Dishonored and all those games. He's not going to buy he's not going to buy, thing. Jake might like Pokemon, so he might go buy just a Switch just for Pokemon, which I did. So it just shows. Like, I don't know. It's so hard to say.
Can I pivot this conversation a little bit?
Yeah, do it.
Go ahead.
Take me away.
I want to take you away to a journey of exclusivity. Do you think, because I see this comment a lot, and I'll give my thoughts on it first, but I see this comment. Let's fucking go! Because, calm down, I'm not done yet. Not done yet.
Sorry, go ahead.
Stop.
So go ahead.
Calling me out as not a panel member in the beginning, then crapping on my comments now. Do you think exclusivity is good because it increases competition? So you have, and I don't agree with that point, but I see a lot of people saying more competition is good because that means as a consumer, the fiercer it is, the better games, because they're gonna have to keep one up in each other to make the better products. I don't agree with that. And the reason I don't agree with that is because even if you didn't have PlayStation versus Microsoft competition, you still have Microsoft versus third-party competition. And so you're going to want to, make for the argument of, well, we're going to get better games because now Microsoft has to make better games than Sony. I don't think that's true, because Microsoft would still need to get the same game sales. They would need to beat Ubisoft, and they'd need to beat EA, and they would need to beat all those other companies, Rockstar, Take-Two, in making better products. And then they'd have to compete against themselves, because you'd still have, well, Elder Scrolls 6 needs to be better than Elder Scrolls 5 because we want to increase sales, because every game you need to perform better. So I don't agree with that idea, but what do you guys think?
See, I want to say, so you're saying
make this quick.
Competitive is weird because I only literally own an Xbox naturally is because of Halo 2. So it leads down to like competitive. If they only made Halo for Xbox, I would still buy the console. Like, that's what I feel about that. But if Spider-Man only come to Nintendo, I would buy that Nintendo. I would buy that Nintendo console for that. I think, but competitive is weird because.
Well, do you think we get better games?
No, I don't. No, I do not think we get better games. We don't. We get what games that they're good. No matter what the company is, they're going to try their hardest to make. Well, let's hope they're going to try the hardest to make the best possible game, so people do talk about their console. But competitive, no, I don't think it's competitive at all. I think it's a waste to say that this game is better than that game or whatever. I just want to enjoy video games, so I don't really care. The competitiveness is stupid. The competitiveness is dumb. I don't care. I've talked about this numerous times. DeMarco, you know this. I own every fucking console there is in my house. I own so many consoles because I am just, if I can play, if that's where I got to play it at, I'm going to buy it because it is what it is. And there's nothing I can stop by it. But it's competitiveness. Like, that's when it comes down to, like, what that is. Yeah, let's buy this so this guy will have to buy my $400 console to play these 3 games that he really loves, in this generation. It's unfortunate we're there, but that's what it is. So it just sucks. It just does. But competitiveness is weak and it's stupid, and I don't think we should have it. So that's just my opinion. I know it's a little more than what you asked, but
I love that.
Yeah, that was good. That's good.
And sorry. Oh man, God, I cannot wait.
You're worse than fucking Risk It with this shit, dude.
I cannot wait to hear the feedback on this. God, I wish you guys could hear these.
We can.
Oh, good. All right. So listen. So let's move on. All right. So have we talked? So Indiana Jones, Machine Games, Project Fantasy from IO both. I know that we did talk about Indiana Jones. Briefly, we talked about that briefly being only on Xbox. That's confirmed.
You said IO?
Yeah, so IO Interactive, which the amazing, incredible Hitman trilogy, which is just
okay. I did see that, and I seen that the person, Crystal Dynamics, the person that made Tomb Raider, I think it is,
Tomb Raider, yep.
is there. So I guess they're making the Perfect Dark or something like that. So I guess they're gonna lead into Perfect Dark. Am I right? Is that what we're talking about here? No, that's the fantasy game that's coming out. That's right. Yeah. It's a fantasy RPG MMO or something like that.
Project Dragon, which got renamed to Project Fantasy.
Yeah. So
yes.
I was literally listening to that on Kind of Funny today. So I listen to Kind of Funny every day when I come home from work. Everybody knows that I do. I try to, at least. I always do because I just like Greg and all them. And I was listening to that and I was like, wow, that actually sounds like it's going to be almost like pretty much like a Bethesda game, but IO and Hitman's amazing. Red, we know that you are like, you could have sex with your Hitman disc if you could.
God, it's so good.
So yeah, so I definitely would like. It's supposed to be like a shooting. I don't know what it is. Shooting RPG. I don't know what it is going on with it.
Basically, how it's being described, it's not JRPG. It's a third-person RPG shooter online, similar with an aesthetic similar to Diablo. Is basically what it's being described.
What is Crystal Dynamics? His name is Gallagher. Daryl
Gallagher.
Yeah. So he did Tomb Raider, and there was another game he did too, and I can't think of it right now, and I'm brain fart. And he's like the main guy on this IO developing team. Like, he's like the main guy that's leading the role, and I think that's good. I love Tomb Raider. Yeah, he's the guy that's running the show, bro. And
no, wait a minute. Wait, hold up. When did Daryl Gallagher leave the initiative?
He did. He's with Crystal Dynamics. He's the one that made Tomb Raider. He's the one that did the Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
trilogy.
he left Crystal Dynamics to head the initiative.
Yeah, well, who's running the show. That's who it is that's running it now. That's Gallagher and his team are running this game. That is.
Okay, you made it sound like Gallagher left the initiative to go work at IO. I'm like, wait,
no.
hold up,
No. Yeah. But I don't. That's I was literally listening to that today. I can't wait to see more into this because I love the Tomb Raider game. And if this guy can bring the Tomb Raider story into these games, that would be, with an RPG, that would be amazing. I love the Tomb Raider trilogy. That trilogy is amazing. I don't care. And if you add that with Hitman, wow, that's just where we need to put money onto it. So we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Did you guys ever play? There was this amazing co-op game. Oh my God, help me! So you played as a man and a woman. There was it was a third-person medieval shooter kind of, and oh my God, chat, help me out. What is this game called? It was for the 360 days, and it was where you played as a man and a woman, co-op. Full on campaign, and you had like these crossbows, and like I think the girl had like a bow, and the dude had like a crossbow.
Enslaved?
No,
that's Odyssey. Yeah. No.
Let's see, 2-player co-op medieval.
Yeah, good luck.
Medieval.
Okay, wait.
shooter.
So while Red looks at that, Mac, why are we bringing up Gallagher and Crystal Dynamics in the initiative when we're talking about IO Interactive?
But I thought he was part of the IO thing, though. I thought he was the one.
No,
that was
he's
running
not.
So he's not.
No.
Okay, that's on me. I thought he was. Okay, that's on me.
The initiative and IO Interactive are two separate studios.
Well, I know that, but I thought that they were getting Gallagher to switch over to the other one to run. So
No.
pretty much. Okay, that was on me.
No, Gallagher's still working on Perfect Dark.
Okay,
He's still there at the initiative.
It was Perfect Dark that he was working on. Okay, that's wwhy there was a lot going on earlier when I was listening to that a bit. So.
Oh, okay, all right. I just wanted to clear that up. I'm like, wait, hold up.
Yeah,
Because if he left to go work at IO Interactive, I would be like, great, but why?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is gonna bother me.
Red, did you find it?
No. God, I'm gonna waste so much time on it. But God, that's what this game sounds like. IO Interactive doing a fantasy co-op.
This is their first new AAA IP in a long time.
Sorry.
It's a medieval game.
It was medieval third-person shooter. You play as a dude and a woman, and it was like dark fantasy, and it was for 360. God,
Damarco, you heard of this?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh,
have no
man,
idea.
chat, help me
I think
out.
he's-
Somebody.
I think he's just making games up.
I
He
think
played it in a dream.
Did you
I
give
do
him his
that a lot.
meds today?
Only game I've ever had dreams about was Starfield. And that's not.
He's thinking of a Flash game that he's played on Not Doppler like 10 or Addicted
All
Game
right.
30 years ago. And
That
he's
sounds
like,
like a. Like
you never played Not Doppler?
No.
Oh, Not Doppler. Not Doppler was like Addicting Games but better.
Oh. Okay.
Not Doppler was amazing.
Good. Well, I believe you. So, yeah. Well, anyway, my whole point of like, look, I'm excited. Oh, there goes my cat. Being excited
Was
about.
it called Bullet Witch? Was that it?
No, Bullet Wit. No. No, it was. You played as a man and a woman. Let's see. Co-op game where you play as a man and a woman. Third-person shooter, 360.
Oh, Scorch Outbreak or something like that. Is that what it's called? It's called Scorch
No, see,
Outbreak or something. We'll look that up.
Fracture. No.
I spend too much time on this. It doesn't exist. All right. What's the
It
next
doesn't
thing?
exist anymore.
It's dead.
For
It's
fuck's
gone.
sake.
Hunted! I
Never-
found it. It's called Hunted. It's called Hunted. Demon's Forge.
Oh, he magically found it. After what,
Hunted,
5-10
Demon's
minutes?
Forge. That's what it's called. Hunted. Demon's Forge. Look it up. For Xbox 360, powered by the Unreal Engine 3, the world of Hunted comes to the third-person dungeon crawl. Whatever. Look it up. It's called Hunted. Demon's Forge. It was fucking awesome. And that game is what I imagine whenever I hear the description of IO Interactive's co-op medieval shooter co-op game or whatever. Is it medieval? They said it's fantasy. Well, it's
They
Diablo.
said it's fantasy. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, the
Like
aesthetic is like
All
Diablo.
right, what about that next topic?
So that next topic, Levy, I'm glad that you. I like that. Let's
God.
get into this next topic, baby. Okay, so Indiana Jones is gonna be third and first person. How do we feel?
We did that.
We did that.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. We did that. You were in the
third and
bathroom.
first
We did.
person.
Yeah, we did it.
Yes.
I don't think.
We brought it up. It was the first. We started with that when we started about FTC. We brought that up.
Okay, so Jim Ryan's a fucking liar. Talking about Xbox taking away COD.
We did that.
Oh, okay, good. Let's see.
We did it.
Hang on. All right.
We did that.
Let's, all right,
The
hang
show is over, you guys. Thank you. See you later.
At this point, yes, it is.
All right,
Red,
listen.
do you want me to transition? Do you need some
No.
help?
All right, so Xbox
Okay.
recently came out with
We
a
did
big
that.
list of. You're a liar for shit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
we have not done this.
No, this one
We haven't done this one. No.
All right, so there was a little list, and honestly, let's just combine
Little.
these two topics exactly, which is why I'm going to combine these two
Yeah,
topics.
it's not little.
It's a long
not
list
little.
of games that Microsoft was looking to acquire, which is essentially the whole entire fucking world of gaming, and so literally everything. I mean, they were like looking to acquire anything, and I think in my mind, whenever I saw this, I was like, the idea is that they were looking to acquire what worked. What they settled on was ABK. That is what they settled on. This would make the most sense for what we're going for. They've talked about how their approach to gaming is much different than just money having everything. Let's acquire, and they said that we need to go into the mobile market. The mobile market is a huge when it comes to revenue. It's huge. So that's what they settled on. Now, having said that, if you guys want to go look up the list of yes, Arcane, it is called Hunted Demon's Forge 360. It's such a good game. But so what would we have liked to have been seen to be acquired by Microsoft? That is the question. Is what pops out. Now, first, Sega. That's the first thing. Sega, baby, all day. Give me Sega. Yes. So that's my pick. Assassin, you're very passionate about this, and you're very passionate about the what ifs and what could have been. So I want to hear what you would have liked to have seen, and what could be. Well, it's not over. It's not over.
Okay, first of all, just want to point out the list of developers and studios that Microsoft were interested in acquiring. Those lists are from 2021. Some of the studios and developers on that list are not available to being acquired anymore. So studios such as Striking Distance, Glenn Schofield Studio, the team behind the Callisto Protocol, they were acquired by Krafton. Gearbox was acquired by Tencent. You know, the whole shebang. Some of them are not on the table anymore. And Brad, you said Sega?
Sega.
Okay, so here's the thing. I do agree with some people when they say Microsoft should stop acquiring publishers. At least for now. Give us like another decade and let a couple of other publishers come up in their place, right? So for me, I'm more interested in Microsoft acquiring the little guys. You know, the teams where they don't have a big budget or they don't have enough resources to make the games they want. Those are the kinds of teams that I want to see. You know, teams that Ninja Theory and Obsidian used to be. So when I think about studios being acquired by Microsoft, I look at studios that either could use that push, or studios they have a good relationship with. So for my first pick, and just FYI to everybody in chat, the topics that I said, top 5. So, top 5. My first pick, Team Asobo, the team behind A Plague Tale and Microsoft's Flight Simulator.
Yes.
That team seems absolutely ready to dominate the industry with whatever games they decide to make. So I'm going Asobo. Not to mention Asobo and Focus Entertainment, they both have expressed high regards to Microsoft and how they've treated them, their Game Pass deals, etc. I think Asobo, in my opinion, should be the next acquisition for Microsoft.
Can I go second?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Moon Studios. I fucking love Ori games, man. And I talk about this all the time. That I wish they'd make another one. And that's my little small indie company that, indie developer, whatever you want to say. I would love for them because they're making another game that's a little bit different. But man, if we could get that, I would think Microsoft. It's crazy how they're not actually, I actually thought they were, but they're Moon Studios.
Moon Studios.
And
They made Ori. Ori in the Blind Forest, Ori in the Will of the Wisp. Let me tell you something. I think that company, you played Ori in the Blind Forest, and then you go to the Will of the Will of the Wisp, and see the upgrade of them actually getting money and figuring out how to develop a game. The game plays so much better. They're a great studio. I love this studio. This is the studio I always talk about. I wish Microsoft would acquire. That's smaller than not the big boy ones. So that's my big one. So.
Okay.
So I know the reason why Microsoft hasn't acquired them yet.
What's the reason?
Oh, secrets.
It's because they're embroiled in internal controversy right at the moment with physical, emotional, and sexual abuse allegations behind the scenes. Specifically with one of the leaders.
So wait,
and
hold on.
co-founders of the studio.
So wait, you're telling me they're gonna take Activision, but they're not gonna take a small studio like Moon Studios where they could fix that a little bit easier, but yet they buy Activision that has the same.
Yeah, that's the irony of it. I was like, yeah, when I heard them acquiring ABK, despite those reasons, and then they passed over Moon Studios because of that reasons, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. You're getting Activision, which, in my opinion, is 10 times worse than Moon?
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that guy left.
Yeah,
because
he
of
did.
it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
It's baffled. That's dumb. I don't know. I need to look into
Yeah,
that
right.
and see what that irritates me a little bit. But
Yeah. Right now, Moon Studios is working with Take-Two's indie division, private division. It's the same division that helped make the Outer Worlds. So, unless Microsoft wants to wait, then Moon is pretty much off the table.
yeah.
Not trying to get you down, Mac. I'm just letting you know.
Oh no,
'cause-
that's fine. No, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear that. I have so many other
Yeah.
studios that I can name, and I just want to keep talking about.
Yeah,
it.
like I said, five for each one and no repeats, please, no repeats, because some of the studios that we're all gonna say we've all agreed before in the past that yes, they should be. But yeah, keep going, Damarco.
I hate acquisitions. I think they're stupid and boring. They don't
Okay, let's
interest
get you
me
out of here, then.
whatsoever. And honestly, the idea of one studio buying another that leads to further conglomeration of studios is just not a good thing to me, and I don't care for it. And if you had the fart sound on your soundboard, now would be a good time for it. So just
got you, baby.
let's throw one of those on there, or just drop. No, genuinely though, I do not care at all about acquisitions. I think they're stupid and boring and pointless, and it follows in line with the exclusivity stuff to me, right? Because you know what? When I see acquisitions, now there's some times when it's like, okay, fine, whatever. I like partnerships better. Because partnerships to me say to me that now we are like Microsoft or look at the EA Originals program. That's a great example. The EA Original says we believe in this product, so we're gonna help you out, and you guys do everything, but we're gonna help you out, and then you get a lot of great games like Unravel, or was it Unravel? Yeah.
Unravel
it takes
was amazing. By the way.
yeah, you get
Oh,
It
my
Takes
freaking
Two.
God.
You get
Such a great game.
It Takes Two, the one that won Game of the Year.
No Way Out or what? A Way Out?
No,
Is that-
It Takes Two won Game of the Year. A
Yeah.
Way Out was also
Yeah.
both of those games by the same studio.
Yeah, same guy,
That's
yep.
Immortals of Avium. That's part of the. So and those are partnerships. That's not exclusives. I think exclusives, and I start thinking, well, now, why do we have so many indie studios popping up? These independent studios popping up because they want to leave from the gigantic AAA games. They don't want to be under those restrictions. So when I see that studios keep getting bought up, I think, well, we also have this mass exodus of employees that are leaving because they don't want to be part of that. And so I don't like it for that regard. I also don't like it because I look at something, say, you know, we've seen all the studios at EA, and I know maybe that's an extreme example, but we've seen how many studios EA has closed down after they get acquired. And it leads to kind of that, and those developers just get moved to other projects. Some of them get laid off, and that doesn't make me happy. And we see, other than that, you get another side of it like Ubisoft, where Ubisoft is another extreme example. So I am playing at extremes, don't get me wrong, but Ubisoft is another one where Assassin's Creed versus Far Cry versus, I mean, even Frontiers of Pandora, it just looks like Avatar-themed Far Cry. So you get those experiences where it's just like, oh, there's another Ubisoft game. And that, when I think of this conglomeration of the industry, that's where my mind goes. And I'm usually pretty positive. I'm usually pretty optimistic about games in general, but...
you mean consolidation?
Consolidation, yeah, consolidation.
Yeah.
Conglomeration works too, but just not the right way. Consolidation is not something I go, yes, look at all these cool things that Microsoft can own. It's like, I don't know. So
Sorry. Finn, Cantaloupe?
Well, now I'm down. How about you guys?
Sorry about that. My son is excited.
Damn.
By the way, we caught up with latency. The latency has finally actually caught up. I'm checking the stream right now, and I'm so sorry again for everyone. I'm usually way more interactive, and I'm grabbing everyone's chat and reading them out. But if I read them out, you're gonna see it like 5 minutes later, and so I'm really sorry. So I'll try to fix that next time. So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's your turn. Your turn to pick a studio.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sony.
because Damarco's leaving himself out of this.
PlayStation.
The fuck?
Yeah, they
said
said
it.
Matt Booty
What?
literally said, listen,
In 2019, he did say this.
Oh my god.
we'll buy Sony.
He said,
Okay.
yeah.
Shit.
He said, well, I'll buy them motherfuckers. He did say that.
I'm pretty sure Sony's on a certain government's list of things you can't buy.
Matt Booty.
That booty, his pants were sagging so far that day, bro.
Oh, I know.
Oh
He
my
had
god,
he had a
guys.
he had a cigar in his fucking hand, like, yeah, we about to take these motherfuckers. Fuck them.
Yep. So no, seriously,
Yeah.
though, you took my Asobo because that is what I keep calling the naughty dog of Xbox. God, they need to be got. They need to get got. But as far as that got, so the list is it could literally be anyone. So I'm sure whoever I assume could be on that list. But I'm trying to think of things.
You want me to send you the list? There's a pretty good list they had up there.
Yeah. You can send it to me. Because
you want me to go through the Twitter thing? I'll just send it through Twitter.
yeah, just send it. Yeah, that's fine. And I know that I don't think we're all going to be able to get through 5 each, but I'll get through as many as I can think
We'll
of.
do 3 each because I need to head out about 8:30 myself, so I want to.
Okay, good timing. So Ahsoka was essentially my second. I mean, that would have been my first pick. But again, Damarco, I agree. I think you and I are 100% there when it comes to exclusivity. I do, however, believe that that acquisitions, I believe it as sort of like a necessary evil, because without the acquisitions, we're not going to see competition, because that's what companies are doing nowadays.
Yep.
It sucks.
Exactly.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
Without it, that's just, we have to have it. And I don't want it, but it's like I get why they do it. But so I don't know.
Yeah,
Whenever
here's
I think
the
of things
thing.
that are synonymous, I think what's the studio? Oh wait, no, you said that. You said Take Two or
It Takes Two.
yeah. Who does that? And No Way Out.
it's an EA Originals. It's by Jose Fares, I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh god, that dude's a G. Talking about pants sagging.
I like his posture and like his attitude about stuff.
Oh, he didn't give a
It's
shit.
amazing. It's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that studio. Yeah, I agree. Did you guys play that, by the way? Did you guys
Yes.
get to play No Way Out?
Yes, I love it.
Oh my god, what a great! No spoilers, man. What a great game.
So
That's
is that,
co-op.
is that who you're picking? Is that who you're picking?
Yeah, I guess I'll disagree with everything that everyone else said because I agree. I do agree, because I genuinely do agree. So,
Well, Assassin.
yeah.
What about you? What's your next one?
Did he just
Cool,
say something?
No, okay, so here's the thing. About industry consolidation. I don't think we're at the point where we have to discuss that yet.
Discussion.
Because most of the big players are still out there. We're seeing indie developers, like Damarco said, we're seeing them leave companies and form their own studios. Some of them have said that they're going to be small and indie. Others have said they're going to create their own studio, make AAA games. See, the thing that most people, I think, don't realize or don't care to realize, the thing that separates video games from movies and TV, it's much easier to get into making video games than it is to starting a new network on TV or starting a new production company in the movie industry. It's more accessible that way. That's why in the past year, we saw, so in the past 3 years since Bethesda got acquired, we have seen Focus Entertainment and Annapurna Interactive take a much more noticeable reach in the industry. We kind of seen those two publishers kind of take their place, as a publisher that, if you want good games and you want independent games where you can get it on either system, those are the two publishers you think, oh, well, that's a great game, so I want to play it. Games like Evil West or Solar Ash, games like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're there in terms of industry consolidation yet. Now, if Microsoft was saying, Ubisoft, EA, Take-Two, we're going to get all those, I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's enough, guys. But for every publisher, there's only 2 publishers Microsoft is interested in acquiring. I guarantee you within 5 years, probably even less, Focus, Annapurna, or any of these smaller publishers will be where Bethesda was before they were acquired. Big publishers, lots of teams, lots of devs making great games, and of course there's going to be maybe 100 indie studios coming up in that time. The industry, I think, is still growing. I think it's going to keep growing. So, when I hear people concerned about losing ABK to Microsoft, I don't really see the problem yet. And about the exclusivity thing, I agree with Damarco in terms of partnerships are great. EA Originals with Immortals of Avium, It Takes Two, those look great. It Takes Two is not my thing because I have no one to play with. Co-op wise, couch co-op. But Immortals of Avium speaks to me. Couch co-op? We don't live in the same state, chicka. Anyway. Partnerships are great. I agree and disagree with you, Damarco, about exclusivity. It's a necessary evil. First-party games, I think, are essential to the big 3. It's the reason why so many people got an Xbox is for Halo. People got PlayStation for Uncharted, God of War, Last of Us, because of their first party.
Well,
Mario,
just to be clear,
Zelda.
my take has never been it's not necessary. My take is just as anti-consumer.
Well, yeah, anti-consumer.
I understand this.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
I
business side of it,
necessity.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's necessary. Now, here's the thing.
Just to be clear.
That I disagree with you that exclusivity is, Okay, wait, no, hold on. I'm trying to re-gauge my thoughts here. Because you and I both agree that it is necessary, but we both agree it sucks, right? So here's the thing. Partnerships are great. First-party games I understand. First-party acquisitions I get. The part of exclusivity that I have a problem with is the third-party games. Final Fantasy XVI is the best example I can give. Final Fantasy came to Xbox during the 360 generation, and it accumulated a mass fan base on the Xbox that I think has dwindled down in recent years because Sony has been using Final Fantasy as a weapon against Microsoft. And it's working pretty well. Same thing with the 360 generation. Mass Effect, BioShock, that 1-year timed exclusivity, Oblivion, those, whether you like it or not, they hurt Sony. They did. Whether they mean to be timed exclusive or exclusive in general, that hurt. That hurt Sony a lot.
They were like,
They
"Owie."
managed to recover themselves. But they did. It still hurt. So when I hear a studio is being acquired by a first party, great. What I don't like to hear is, why is this franchise, or this new game that I really want to play on my console, exclusive to the other one that I don't have? I really don't like that, especially with franchises that, you know, have existed for a long extended period of time. Street Fighter V, I like to point out, is another one. I do not agree with third-party exclusives on either side. I think if you're gonna make a game exclusive, by the studio or publisher, more likely studio than publisher, because let's face it, you can't just drop billions of dollars on a publisher on a whim. Either buy the studio, or you leave it the fuck alone and let it release. That's my view on exclusivity. I'm sticking to it. I do not like it when Sony does it. I do not like it when Microsoft does it, and I don't like it when Nintendo does it.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
Buy the studio and IP, or leave it alone. That's my take. Now back to the acquisitions bit. Now, what I mentioned earlier, I want to see studios that haven't reached their full potential get Microsoft backing. That's the only reason why I suggested this as a topic. Because we want these studios to succeed. We want them to build great games for us. We want them to build great games that we have to get the next console, right? Or we have to get a good PC. So for this one, I'm going with Team Cherry. The team behind Hollow Knight.
Wow.
It's only a 5-person team. But their last game pretty much blew everybody out of the water.
All right.
So that's what I'm going with.
Okay, that's nice. So I'm gonna make mine real quick because I got 4 to go, and I'm gonna leave right after this because I have to go at 8:30. Cryotech, which we all know where they come from. High Rise Studios, they make Smite and Rogue Company. Pearl Abyss, and People Can Fly. I think People Can Fly actually got something to do with Xbox.
Yes,
so that's a Gears of War thing. And if you don't count that one because of their already kind of going ahead being with Xbox, I would go with either Splash Damage because I love a game that come out in December, or Avalanche Studios. But I just want to say just one of those things that I agree with you guys on, the exclusivity on these third party. They're third party. They're outside. I hate when companies will use Octoplast Traveler real quick. The first one come to Xbox, right, and then the second one did not because supposedly it didn't sell well. I hate that shit. If you're gonna put it on one.
Oh my god!
It's
They're
annoying.
like, we funded you for let's say $4 million or whatever for your project, and then they go, now we expect $200 million day one, and as soon as it hits $199 million day one, they're like, nope, failure, done, take it off, take it away.
Yeah,
they clearly don't buy it. I'm so fucking.
Yeah, and we'll use for an example Capcom, we clearly seen that they've done it with the Mega Man game. They've done it with Street Fighter V. That shit's annoying. I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of if you have a series or a trilogy of games and it's on one, put it on the same fucking console for the whole until you are done with that trilogy. Until you are done. And so I'm so sick of this bullshit where we get a game and then it's I don't know. I'm just so sick of that shit. If it's a third party exclusive, put it on everything. You will make more money.
Third party.
I get,
Elder Scrolls 6.
It annoys me when they say, "Oh, well, we didn't really want it on Xbox or we didn't want it on the Nintendo Switch." I don't fucking care. Put it on everything. If you put it on one thing, put it on. Now, if you have a marketing deal, yeah, I get you. Put it on that. Or you have a contract with this company that's the only one you're supposed to put it on. Put it on that. But don't fucking just push one console out. It looks so bad for you. And I didn't even want to buy Mega Man, and clearly, unfortunately, Final Fantasy I was going to buy, but it just was one of those things where I could not wait for it to hopefully come to PC and hopefully come to PlayStation. Here we are 3 years later with the remake. But I just want to say those couple things. But I will say, you guys, welcome back. I know it's been 2 weeks. I have a lot going on in my life. I want to thank you guys for understanding my bullshit that's going on in the background.
Yeah.
I will to everybody that's actually in chat. I think we only have a few more people that are left here because everybody jumps ship here at this time. I think there's like 8 people. Anybody that's listening, I'll have my video up next week, and hopefully everything goes as smooth as it can this weekend for the hospital and stuff like that I got and stuff, and hopefully I can get here on Saturday and take a full day like Red said last night and get this room together and get my personal stuff together so I can put myself back on camera. I do apologize for anybody that wants to see me on camera, which I don't think it's probably many, but still.
Everyone wants to see you on camera.
But it's one of those things where I'm just trying to get my life together here a little bit.
Yeah, man.
And I just want to say that Diablo 4 is not Game of the Year, and it should not be in Game of the Year contention. I want to throw that in there at the end of it. I want to throw that little shade at the end of it because I do not think this game. I'm bored of it already. I'm sorry. I'm just bored of it.
Like Rand said, click, 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 click.
Yeah, I'm bored of it already, and that's sad. And I don't even want to finish it. I'm not even halfway through the game, and I don't even want to finish it. So it's pretty sad. But I will talk to you guys later. I will be back. I mean, I will be back in about 40 minutes. So Damarco, if you want to join our party or whatever and stuff like that, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I need to run and do stuff. So. But,
all right. Take care. Everyone say goodbye to MacBound.
Later.
Bye, Mac.
All right. So there goes Mac. And here we go. We're pretty much at the end of our ropes as well. I know we didn't get through. Well, we pretty much got through everything. Hellblade got bought for a lot of money. $117 million. And do we know how many devs? It was a very small number. Ninja Theory is such an anomaly, man. Ninja Theory is a force to be. This goes to show you where, and Asobo was another studio to put these two in one basket. Look at Asobo making Flight Simulator, and then going and making, in my opinion, a Last of Us competitor with the Plague Tale Requiem, specifically Plague Tale Requiem, because the first one. Yes,
I'm inclined to agree with Red on that.
The
Plague Tale is a Last of Us competitor.
A Plague Tale Requiem.
It doesn't have what?
Yes, it is so. I like it. I like it more than I like Last of Us. It's my game of the year for 2020.
Well, that's because it's not PlayStation. That's why you like it more.
Oh my God! Listen, Last of Us 2. We're not gonna get.
Am I wrong?
Not even in the same.
Nope. We're not doing this. Because this is a whole rabbit hole. It's a third-person
oh God
drama, very dark, gritty drama, sneaking around and shit. That's what it is. One's medieval, one's post-apocalyptic. That's it. Damarco, we gotta do this. Let's go. What's your issue with me comparing Plague Tale Requiem to The Last of Us?
Because think of when you play a Plague Tale Requiem, do you at all think of the stealth mechanics in a Plague Tale Requiem match the stealth in Last of Us 2 in any capacity?
Plague Tale is much better.
Are you drunk?
Listen, you're sneaking around.
They don't have. It is not much better. It is. I'm sorry. I've played a Plague Tale 1. I haven't played a Plague Tale Requiem. So I understand the gameplay of a Plague Tale, and I understand the gameplay of The Last of Us. So let's just take the first, because I played the first of both games. I played The Last of Us 1 and 2, but I played the first Plague Tale. Stealth is not even close. The looting mechanic is not even remotely similar. The types of interactions that you have with enemies, where a Plague Tale is set up much more like a puzzle versus The Last of Us, which is much more of the combat-heavy side of it. Now, you have the puzzle of how you're going to sneak past, but it is not even... I'm sorry, they're not comparable.
Listen, I don't know why you're yelling.
They're not comparable.
I mean, okay, Red, to be fair,
you're doing disservice to both games. You're doing disservice to both of them with that comparison.
Hold up,
Last of Us 1 is a great game. Yeah, go ahead.
Red, hold on. DeMarco, you said so are you comparing The Last of Us to Innocence or Requiem? Because Requiem has...
He hasn't played Requiem.
A lot more expansive stealth mechanic than Innocence.
Yeah, but I would say that The Last of Us 2 stealth is more similar to like Metal Gear than it is a Plague Tale Requiem. I've seen a Plague Tale Requiem stealth.
And that's
Not
but
on
that's
that
the
level.
thing. The Plague Tale Requiem is more similar to Last of Us' stealth, like on like a retroactive, like if like from what you just said, when we're moving up as far as like what gets better and better over time. Plague Tale Requiem is so similar to Last of Us stealth. Period. It just the way everything moves, like, so for example, you know how like in Last of Us, whenever like you're facing a certain direction and you know you got your hand up on a wall and you start to like move backwards, your character doesn't like turn completely around. They start to they'll like move backwards a little bit and then start to like turn. That's what it does in Requiem. It feels like The Last of Us is what I mean. Throughout the entire narrative, the tone of it is so dark and so like it's so.
I'll accept
Last of
tone.
Us. Like,
I'll accept tone.
it's just like I don't know what else to compare it to other than Last of Us is what I'm saying. So whenever I have to, they go, okay, you have these two comparisons. They're similar in all these different ways. Which one do you prefer? Last of Us is an absolute classic. Everyone knows what it is. You know what I mean? After playing 1 and 2 Last of Us, having 10 plus years to think about how I feel about those games, I prefer Plague Tale Requiem because it had a much more meaningful story overall, and the gameplay part of it is similar to The Last of Us. So it's sort of like a, you know, sort of like a little cherry on top is all I'm saying. So if that clarifies what I mean, yeah. All right, so that's fine.
Anyway,
so,
we were talking about Ninja Theory.
Yeah, so Ninja Theory.
To answer your question,
Yep.
so when they made Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, it was a 20-person team
20, yeah.
with a budget of $10 million, including marketing. And they delivered a Game of the Year contender that year. Damarco, you're playing through it on your Sunday chill streams. You liking it so far?
I love it. I love it so far. I love it. It's great.
Now,
it has problems. It has problems. It does.
Pacing?
It's not.
It does, yeah.
No, actually, I wouldn't say pacing is actually the problem. I know, Red, you have a problem with the puzzles. I know you don't like the puzzle. But I think it's just
Combat.
no. The combat needs a little bit more variation. Like, even if they added in different weapons where, like, you could get, like, think Jedi Survivor where you have the crossguard stance and that's really slow versus a single blade stance where that's, like, quicker versus the dual blade when that's really quick. Even if you had something like that to help shake it up, I think it would have went a long way. But the puzzles, and if you would have asked me 3 hours in versus, I don't know how many hours I spent in now, probably closer to 8. My opinion is completely different. Because first time I finished after the first stream, I was like, this is phenomenal, like, great game. Second time after I finished that stream, I was like, all right, I'm seeing the tedium is starting to set in a lot more. Because I'm doing the same puzzle. I'm looking through the slightly different gateways to solve it. I'm doing the same combat again. You're not throwing any new enemies at me anymore. And I'm sorry, a guy with shield versus a guy with club versus a guy with sword does not feel different from one another. That's not enough variation in the enemy type. So it has its.
Yeah, I remember. I remember during your first in Starfield, Cyborg, and a few others in your chat, we were screaming at you to use your RB button to focus so it slows down time and you can attack Raven, the boss that you were fighting. And it took you like 30 minutes to look at what we were saying. And oh, this makes it so much easier. And then you try to attack the boss, but the boss attacked you and took you out of focus.
Yeah. No, but
like that was like 30 minutes of frustration, like screaming at you to use your focus, motherfucker.
No, but it's good.
Use
it's
it.
good. It's a good game. Anyway, so you were saying.
Yeah, so $10 million budget that game was made. They acquired Ninja Theory for $117 million, basically 10 times that. Ninja Theory now looking at how many developers they have. Once again, 20 was made to make the first Hellblade. They have 100 working on the sequel. They have $100 million budget, I'm estimating, based on how much they got bought for. And they've had years to work on Unreal Engine 5. The only thing I would say, in terms of Hellblade 2, and I'm bringing up the game specifically,
we know the graphics are good, we know the story is good, we know the tone is perfect, just like the first game. What the hell does the combat look like? That's the one thing that Ninja Theory hasn't shown us.
Probably looks like Devil May Cry.
based on how many people they got working on it, based on the money and resources behind it, Damarco, after playing the first game for 8 hours, once you beat it, are you going to be excited for Hellblade 2?
Yeah. Oh, I'm
or will that depend on how the ending will be?
No. I think I like the world, and I like Senua enough. I think, and I like the audio design in the game and the way that's done. Like I said it during this when I've been streaming it. That the story is what's carrying me through at this point, so that is enough for me. And yeah, I'm getting bored of the gameplay, but I'm willing to suffer that. I say suffer, I don't mean it that badly, but you know what I mean. I'm willing to trudge a little bit through that because I love the world that's created. I love the tone of the game, and I really, now that we're getting into, as you get later in the game, it gets more into the mental illness side of things. And you start to see that more, and you start to really make all these metaphors for that stuff. It gets really deep, and I appreciate that it gets deep.
Mm-hmm.
So
I beat the first one recently.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump all over. I was just gonna agree. Yeah, like it gets really deep to the point where you're like, "Woo, damn!" They really hit on like a lot of like some real stuff. And the actress. By the way, did you all know that so they started with this motion capture? They were like, we want to use your face. And someone correct me if I'm wrong. She's not an actress. She's not a voice actor or anything like that. She does not do this for a living. She was just part of the team, and they said, hey, we need you to stand in. We're a very small team. We can't afford to hire a big time actress. And she's like, sure, we'll do whatever you gotta do to me. So they did things to her, and she blew them out of the, man, this is not going well. But so anyway, so she blew everyone out of the water with her. I'm sorry. That was really not intentional, I promise. Anyway, I'm sorry. So anyway, she blew everyone on the team away with her performance, and sincerely, like there are moments in the game. There are moments in the game where I was like uncomfortable with how good she was like acting. Like it's like one of those kind of performances where she's like screaming and like crying and like just, I mean, like it's incredible. So I would love to see a dev diary and about her talking about how she became Senua and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyway,
another situation where an ordinary person unintentionally kicks off a franchise. Not a lot of people know this, but Steve Downes, who voiced Master Chief,
I was just about to say, jockey. Yes.
He was just a disc jockey when Bungie asked him to be Master Chief, and then he did, and he didn't realize how famous he had become through Halo until I think a year after the first game came out, because people recognized his voice, and people were lining up to get his autograph. So again, another situation. Person, in this case, Melina Jurgen, that's her name. She was just an ordinary developer and stood in to act as Senua, and now because of that, she's well known within the acting community, ironically, and throughout the Xbox community as the lead actress and motion capture Senua.
I just thinking about it.
I just love origin stories like that.
I do too. Like, yeah, it's so funny. As you were talking
about
it,
once you were just a normal person like me and you. But now you're high. Now you're high up on the.
Now you're high as hell.
List of, like you are like you are an actor / actress when you really didn't get hired for that. Like you're pretty famous now, basically.
Yeah.
I just love origin stories like that.
Man,
and
Steve
to DeMarco's
Downes...
point, I beat the first Hellblade literally a couple weeks ago. So when you said that you were gonna play Hellblade,
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hey, look.
Did I cut out?
You cut out a little bit, but I'm sure you said when you heard that he was playing Hellblade, you were like,
I was excited. Yeah, Damarco, was it me that suggested, or was it someone else?
I don't.
It was me.
Okay.
Actually.
It was Red.
I think because we were talking about it, might not have been, but we were talking about it, and how I was going through it because of my excitement for Hellblade 2, and Mac was talking about it. He's like, I'm not like the biggest fan of it, but it's good. But you know, everyone has their tastes, and I like chocolate. And so anyway, any other? I think we did it, guys. I think we did it.
Yeah.
Before 9 o'clock.
Before 9 o'clock. That's the thing. Like
before 9 o'clock, Jesus.
I thought the show. I always
Finally.
think when I start to think the show is gonna end, I'm like, no, we got like 45 minutes left, and that's how I felt way early on, actually. So, listen, we did it, guys, and everyone in chat, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for being here and for showing up. And I missed you guys. I miss this. This is sort of, you know, like the highlight of my week. It's very uplifting and it's very energizing.
Yeah, having the original crew and Damarco.
And Damarco. No, listen, let me explain. So with having this soundboard, I'm trying to, like, while I was like talking, I was like, what can I use to sort of? So I'm looking at this one called Cheering, which is for the people who are still listening. It's this. And that's what I was going to play whenever DeMarco came in, but I did this one instead, which was I Got You, Bro, which is I got you, homie. And it's like, I got you, homie. And that's one that I played. I believe that's one that I played whenever DeMarco came. I was like, that's much better. So I was trying to jump and like find my brain. My ADD brain can only handle so much. So anyway, everyone. So DeMarco, you're gonna be busy. Are you gonna be doing any content?
Yeah. So the I have some discussions on Bethesda that I'm looking forward to, but also I'm gonna be doing I'm kicking off a new series on my channel. And I'm gonna be working on. I mentioned it in the past, so it's out there. But I'm gonna finally start working on the first one, which is DeMarco's Quick Remarks. Get it? Cause like DeMarco and Quick Remarks.
Okay.
But basically, it's a shorter form version where I don't necessarily do the skits, and it's more scripted, and I might not even have it might be more sitting down instead of standing up like I do in my reviews. But it's a quicker, more short form version of reviews, so I can get some out quicker. Maybe a little bit for games I normally wouldn't review. And the first one's going to be on Planet of Lana. So I really want to review that game because I loved it a lot. So there's a spoiler for the verdict.
There you go.
But yeah, I want so quick remarks. And that's that I'm excited to put out. Excited to put that out. And then also Bethesda, I've been doing a lot of Starfield videos and I like Starfield, so if you wanna let me review Starfield, that'd be cool.
That's right. Carrie Cindy, or what was her name?
Cammy, if you
Cammy. I was close.
Love you, Cammy.
Love you, Cammy. Oh God, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Assassin, what are you gonna be doing? Are you gonna be playing things and jumping around and jumping through hula hoops and jumping jacks and whatever?
Jumping through what now?
I don't know. Hula hoops.
No, okay, first up, no. So, what I'm...
Gay!
Actually, yeah, kinda, yeah.
Like the spot.
Okay, DeMarco, I get it!
Portal.
I get...
Portal 2.
Oh, I see
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Chalk Zone. Rudy from the Chalk Zone. Rick and Morty portals.
Oh, Rick and Morty.
I haven't thought about Chalk Zone in years. Jesus, that actually makes me feel
Monsters
old.
Inc.
But
doors.
no.
That's kind of like Portal-ish, like a hole that you could jump in.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna mute him if he keeps talking.
I want to go. Wrap up.
Yeah, I know. So, not gonna be doing any content for a very long time. Still need to save up money for a PC, which I'm getting there. I really am. what am I going to be playing? I'm going to try and finish Skyrim by the end of the summer, at least try to 100% it, all the achievements. I'm going to keep going on Final Fantasy 16. That's pretty much about it. But, Red, did someone ask you, me, and Mac to be in a party later tonight? I forgot.
I believe his name is Old Eastwood.
Yeah, I don't recognize him.
Well, hey, listen.
I'm just kidding, yeah. Well, yeah. So, if, just send me an invite if that offer still stands. If not, I will be playing Skyrim for the rest of the night.
Yes. Are you on the point where are you on mods now, or?
No. Nope, man. Just vanilla. I thought, so here's the thing. I was doing the Blood on Ice quest line. Try to find the serial killer in Windhelm.
Yes.
I thought I had fucked up again with another bug, but it turns out I just need to talk to Viola about the butcher, and then, well, I got that quest done.
That was a very badly done quest where it's like very restrictive in the way you need to do it.
Yeah,
it's
like I get Bethesda wanted to do a murder mystery, a serial killer type of quest, but they could have done it a bit differently.
They needed more ways that you could go about solving it versus what they had, where it kind of felt like you do this, then this, then this, then this, and if you don't do it in that order, you can't do it.
A good one, though, is in Morthal. Just go to Morthal. You know what I'm talking about, Damarco.
I think I do.
You mean the vampire quest?
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You did it.
Bro, I played Skyrim literally for over 5 years. It's not gonna spoil me.
Oh, well, people haven't played it.
I know. They've had 12 years to play it. I think we can move past the spoiler alerts.
That's true. Well,
yeah,
good, man.
Anyway,
so you're going to Skyrim. Yeah. And it's a whole new world for you, just like Aladdin and Jasmine. Oh my god, I remembered her name. Yeah, so, look.
Please don't talk about Disney with me. Please don't.
What, you don't like Disney?
I don't like the magical fantasy Walt Disney Disney.
Shit. Here we go again.
Dude. I can't believe I'm about to admit this on a podcast, because the internet's forever, and you and Marco, and I know Mac is going to laugh.
And so, Red, what are you up to? What have you been doing?
What I'm up to is...
Thank you, DeMarco. Thank you. I wanted someone to step in.
I kept, like, bleeping you out as you were talking. I'm like, beep, 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 beep. I was trying to, at least. Anyway, so, yeah, I am going to try to finish my flippin' Fable video. It's a lot of technical stuff with Premiere. I don't know why. Every time I go to port my audio or to import all my video over, it turns everything to slow motion, which is fantastic. So I got to do some whatever. Got a Fable video coming out, all right? Should have been out a week ago, but I pooped my brains out, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I got that coming out. I also have a Starfield video coming out as well, and I'm not going to tell you when it's coming out, but it's coming. It's coming. And once that kicks off, hopefully the channel will start doing better, because this is all that we have, and we're relying on the chat to keep us alive. And I just want to thank everyone who showed up. And if you got this far, no one ever does this, so I want you guys to be the very first to do this. And if you got this far, hashtag FTC. And that stands for Fried Turkey Chicken. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, so just hashtag Fried Turkey Chicken in the chat or in the comments section. That'd be great. So yeah, everyone, thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I love you all. Goodbye, everyone.
Adios.